What's up, guys? This is Chris Coleman from Next Millennial Podcast, and today with me I have my good buddy Michael Wiseman. Wiseman, how we doing, buddy?
What's going on, buddy?
Chilling, bud.
Yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about yourself. So the whole idea here, I told you about this a little bit, but what we're trying to do here is just kind of record our generation. Trying to, meet as many people as possible to have them on here, all walks of life, but kind of in the same age group as us. We're considered millennials, and the older generation, hates us, but, I always thought it was, me and my buddy were talking about it, and I always thought it'd be cool if, we went, if I could go back in time and, hear, my grandfather or whatever bullshitting with his buddies, I'd listen to those conversations, you know what I mean?
No, that makes sense.
Yeah.
I would too.
Hell yeah, it'd be sick, right?
I wonder if they talk about what we talk about, slaying pussy and shit.
Oh, yeah, for sure. I'm sure they did.
It makes sense, but obviously they're not talking about, porno and shit. Obviously, it's way more generalized.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm sure it's same content, different times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, it's something I would love to do, so that would have been real sick.
I think it would be a good time for sure.
Yeah, no doubt. Well, tell us a little bit about yourself. Where are you from, man? Birthplace. What are we doing
here?
I'm
from Helena, Montana.
Okay.
I was, basically, I grew up in a kind of a shadier place. Basically, wasn't very rich. But I started in Helena. I was went to school there until I was in 5th grade. And if you don't mind, anyway, so I went 5th grade, and then I moved to Washington, and stayed there until I was in 9th grade. Finished out my 9th grade year, and then my parents decided, well, you know what, we should just that we should just go back to Idaho, or go to Idaho, because that's where my dad's brother was, right?
Okay.
So, it's been a long trip. I've been to a bunch of different schools. It kind of sucked ass. So
yeah, that
one thing I can't take about it is I met a lot of people, and I've got a lot of opinions. I had a lot of good conversations. You know what I mean?
Gotcha.
And that's why I live for it. Is I'm more of a people person. And I think that's what made me a people person, is because I met so many people throughout my life, and it's kind of facetious me to be in the Navy that I'm doing the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. Like you said, how that kind of made you into a people person. I can imagine. You got to hit that restart button so many times. Yeah. Hit a new school, it's big. You got to re-meet everyone. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Find out who's who, who's not, and just find your little cliche, your little group, and stick with it.
Well, I don't think I consider myself a cliche. I think I am the kind of person that likes to relate to everybody. You know what I mean? But to an extent, obviously there's some faggots out there, but I like to generalize myself as a everybody person.
Okay. So. Yeah, I got you. I feel that way now. Yeah. But in high school, no way.
Yeah.
Middle school, elementary school, no way. It wasn't like that.
Yeah.
If you were a nerd, you were a fucking nerd. I was a dick.
Until college. Don't get me wrong.
Much.
I've always been a dick. I'm still a fucking prick.
I wasn't really a dick to people's faces as much as it was I just wouldn't bother myself with that person. You know what I mean? It's not like I saw a kid and was like, that kid's a fucking nerd, and I'd punch him in the face or book him. It's happened once or twice.
You just saw yourself as a higher, well, I wouldn't say you thought you were better than him. I guess you just saw yourself as you were.
No, I definitely thought I was better than him.
Okay, well, that makes sense. I do. One thing I kind of relates to that, as well as in the Navy, I kind of made rank, so I kind of see myself as better than anybody that's below me.
Okay.
Because I feel like I've earned my right to make rank. Because it took me a while, and when I finally made it, it was really important to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think here's the thing about that is that I said a lot of the problem with these kids in school now is what was different from before. Is that I think, especially when it comes, it's all about trends. You know what I'm saying? Where if some people aren't following everybody else that they're following, for example, if the school, right, and the school was a huge football school, and a couple kids weren't into football. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They were disliked because they weren't into the trend.
Yeah.
Does it make sense? Does it make sense? So there's nothing wrong with always having a tradition, especially when it comes to cultures or anything, or even in school. Different schools have different traditions because they've been doing it forever, and there's nothing wrong with them having to change.
Okay.
But people who disagree or don't like that sport or don't like to associate with those people, there's nothing wrong with them. You know what I mean? And then that's the problem is people take that too far. It's like, you know what? Just because you don't like football doesn't mean I can't talk to you. Does that make sense?
Yeah, but it takes time to mature into stuff like that.
Well, here's the thing, though. Here's the thing. A lot of, if you look at all these kids that are messed up, they don't become messed up in their 20s.
What do you mean messed up? Yeah,
like they not messed up. They like kids who have bad childhoods.
Yeah,
are more likely to have a difficult time outside of high school. Does that make sense?
Outside of okay, yeah, sure, but what are we getting at here? I feel like we're kind of bouncing around. Like,
No,
I don't
well,
see how that relates
well,
to what we were just talking about.
What I'm trying to say is that I feel like you shouldn't have to not hang out with the kid just because he doesn't like what you like. And a lot of these kids now are very opinionated and very judgmental.
Okay.
So that's the problem.
But I think we're the same way. Okay, it's personally back in my day, my heyday, I was the same way. I was the same way. But now I don't judge a person by their interest. I think it's actually good to hang out with people that don't do exactly what you do, that aren't interested.
Well, because
what you're interested.
But
but now, like, instead of hanging out with someone who has the same interests as me, I look for people that have the same values. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, I want to hang out with someone who, you know, trustworthy, whatever. You know what I mean? Just like, not someone. I don't really look at interest more than I look at values. I think it's good to have a little diversity in like your group of friends. You know what I mean?
Well, obviously, but you gotta understand too. Group of friends, they all have the same interests, and that's why they hang out and do different things. In a way, values are a whole different. They're way different than interests.
Yes,
because values can be a bunch of people. Like, for example, you go to a church, that's values. And interests are groups. For example, if you go out, if you and your friends are smoking weed, is that a value or is that an interest? As an interest.
That's an interest, yeah.
Exactly.
Sure.
So that's what a group of friends do. They go out, have fun, go hiking, go jumping off cliffs, go swimming, hang out with females. Those are all group activities that are interests. Nothing to do with values.
But those are, a lot of them are, what I should say is, like, a lot of them are very, very similar. So I feel like the pool of interest, right? It's like, who doesn't like to go hiking? Who doesn't like to do these things? Who doesn't like to go partying?
Some people don't.
Okay, yeah, I get that. Some people don't, but like,
The
they're eliminated. I'm not talking about
do.
a guy who just sits
The vast majority does.
in his room and fucking jerks off all day. You know what I mean?
The vast majority does.
Exactly. But so what I'm saying is to eliminate those kind of people. Like, I'm sure there's people out there that I could be friends with that like hiking, but they're just a shitty person. You know what I mean? So I'm not gonna be friends. I'm not gonna associate myself with that person.
No, right.
So I think the values thing. Whereas in high school, if say, you know, someone had the title already, like other people already liked him or her, I'm going to automatically associate myself with that person just based on other people's thoughts on that person, you know what I mean? Where now it's like, I don't give a fuck what anyone else thinks about that person. If I fuck with that person, it's because I do, you know what I mean?
Right, well, and here's the thing too. A lot of people say that they don't like attention. Everybody does, and that's a fact. Like you just said, you wanted to hang out with the person that was the most popular.
For sure, yeah.
That's everybody. You know what I mean? Because if they're hanging out with the popular person, that means they're popular. That means they get attention.
Yeah, it's politics, man.
Well, no, it is politics in a way.
A little sense, yeah.
In a little sense, but like I was talking to you earlier, there's a difference between politics and religion because you have to think about it this way, right? Is that politics are not just about government. Politics can be arguing about whose sport's better or who TV show is better than that TV show. You know what I mean? Religious is all about morals and values.
Okay.
That makes sense?
Yeah.
So, like with the popularity thing, there's nothing wrong with having a lot of friends. I mean, some people are more approachable and more friendlier than other people, and that's all right. I mean, those people tend to be more popular.
Yeah.
But you also have the people who are good at sports and just were really cool. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but still, what I'm trying to say is, like, I don't know, like, even if I didn't like someone, I would still associate myself with that person. Just not because they're a good friend. So let me get this straight. I have a lot more acquaintances than I have friends. I have a handful of friends and I have a fuck ton of acquaintances.
Mm-hmm.
There's a huge difference. You know what I mean?
Right.
A friend would literally do anything for you and not ask why. You know what I mean? Or do it because, okay, if I do this for him, he needs my help, or her, then they owe me. You know what I mean? It's not based on that. It's because you genuinely like the person and you would like to help them out. So friends and acquaintances totally different. And it took me a while to realize that, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I heard someone say it and I was like, okay. But it took me a while to really realize that. But acquaintances, I would have acquaintances that I didn't really enjoy being around. Like, I didn't like them as a person, but I pretended to just because they were who they were, and I used to rather, like say my actual friends like that acquaintance, and I didn't. I would put myself through that to be with my friends, you know what I mean?
Yeah,
which kind of sucked. But, like, now I wouldn't do that. Like, now I'd just be like, okay, if you guys are going there, I'm not going. Like, I chased my friends a lot in high school. Like, I chased them a lot. Like, okay, I'm not doing that unless you guys come. Or, we're not doing that unless everyone... You know what I mean? Kind of thing?
No.
And now it's like... Well, first of all, my friends are half the country away, so I'm sure that had an effect on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But, you know, I have a few friends here, but it's like, still, like, I can go do my own things now. Like, but I feel like that comes with age.
Well, and I completely agree with that. And one thing that I can really say that is true about myself is that when I was in high school, I was a pretty popular guy in a sense. You know what I mean? Because I knew a lot. I mean, like I said, I'd been in different schools, so I wasn't able to, like. Obviously, I grew up in my childhood was in Montana, right?
Yeah.
But you don't really have popular kids when you're in 4th grade. I mean, obviously you have friends. You're starting to get to, like, have buddies.
Yeah.
But when it starts in middle school and high school, that's when the politics and the popularity contests begin.
Yeah, for sure.
So when I went to Washington, I wasn't there long enough to know everybody to be popular. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So basically, I had acquaintances, and I had my friends that were on my block. That... I know that sounds weird.
yeah. on my street.
On my street.
Repping my set.
No, like people who lived, because like it was, my house was perfect. Like it was my house, the street, and then the park. And then the park, there's a baseball field that was connected to the middle school.
Okay,
it was perfect setup, dude. And there was a bunch of kids in that area, so I was able to have good friends. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it makes sense.
And the thing is, right, is like. A lot of people that I have talked to, like, don't really associate themselves with Mormons. But my best friend, and through what was it? Through 5th grade to or like half 5th grade, kind of to 9th grade, was a Mormon. It wasn't because it was because he just liked what I like to do: talk to females, play baseball, play football, fucking. Hanging out and shit. I mean, obviously, like,
that's where it all starts.
I think it was crazy, right? Because obviously there is some barrier because he was Mormon and I was not. I don't consider myself a religious person because I believe in, like, different stuff, but we'll talk about it later. What I'm trying to say now is that I think
forward to it, buddy.
Me hanging out with him made me a better person in that sense because, like, I wouldn't say I would devote myself. I devoted myself to him because he's, like, my closest friend. Like, I would go to his, like, on Saturdays. I go to his church and play sports with him because it was fun. You know what I mean? It was fun. It was a fun time. It was all Mormon people.
Yeah,
they were good people, but I don't. And, like, when I talk to people now, they're like, "Oh, the Mormons are weird." I mean, some of them obviously, but, like, I had a Mormon as a best friend at a time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, I mean, with that kind of shit too. So as a kid, I mean, you're kind of still free as a kid. So
Right.
but as he gets older, that's when it starts to become weird. You know what I mean? Because like, I don't know. I mean, it's what's considered weird. Weird is just different than you. You know what I mean?
No,
So,
that makes sense. So what I'm trying to continue is that when I moved to Idaho, when I was in Washington, I played football and I played quarterback the whole time because I always looked up to Michael Vick and Peyton Manning because I liked throwing the ball.
dude, pause. Sorry to interrupt. I watched Michael Vick's highlights yesterday. I think he's the most underrated football player of all time.
You know
Because of the dog thing. Dude, he was honestly unbelievable.
Dude, he was so good in the Falcons.
He was amazing.
He was amazing. And you know what the thing is, right? Is that his most highlighted game is not with the Falcons.
The Eagles.
Is the Eagles.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But during his time with the Falcons, he revolutionized the game as a mobile quarterback.
Absolutely.
I understand people say the quarterback for the 49ers, I can't remember his name.
Kaepernick.
No, not him.
Oh, Joe Montana.
No, after him.
Steve Young.
Mm-hmm. That he was a mobile quarterback, but Michael Vick actually.
Yeah, that's like
not
even close.
Michael Vick put up numbers as a rushing quarterback.
Dude, he put up running back numbers as a quarterback. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, 100%. What I heard Skip Bayless say in this highlight video, he goes, Michael Vick made plays that you've never seen before in the NFL every Sunday. Like, he was doing things that have never been done every Sunday.
You know why? You know who I compare Michael Vick to in his Falcon days? Russell Wilson, for sure.
You can't compare him to anyone.
No.
You're a Seahawks fan. That's biased.
It's not.
Get outta
It's
here.
not biased because look at Russell Wilson. Name another quarterback other than him, or other than Michael Vick, that was able to escape the pocket so easily and make plays.
Okay, there's quite a few.
No, that as good as Russell Wilson.
Okay, Russell Wilson's little spin move, his half spin move is amazing. Totally did that. If you watch college now, every college quarterback does that. As a D-end, that's never happened to me. But I know damn well, I've always played on the right side, right? Majority of quarterbacks are right-handed. So I'm in a left-handed stance, coming off the edge, and I have the blind side on the quarterback. I'm against the left tackle. And that's why left tackle gets paid so much money, because if you get by him, you have a free shot on the quarterback. He can't see you. Russell has that instinct where he knows the guy's right there, and he does that little spin move. So he's there, he does that little spin move where he almost runs backwards to spin to the side, the same exact side where that guy came from.
Mm-hmm.
So that guy, he's coming full speed thinking he has a kill shot. The last second, he just does this little fucking circle thing, and it fucks everyone up. And that's where Johnny Manziel got that from. That's all these quarterbacks do that now, and I will give that to Russell. It's a great move.
You know, but what I'm trying to say is right. Obviously, if you look at the numbers that were put up by stat-wise in college,
Yeah.
you're not gonna see NFL quarterbacks put up those numbers.
No.
Like look at running backs running at 275-yard rushing games, like more than like twice a season.
Yeah. Well,
That doesn't happen.
well, no. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I
So
don't
you can't really compare quarterbacks in the college and quarterbacks.
I'm not. The only thing I was comparing was the move. Russell Wilson is not that great. I wouldn't compare him to Michael Vick at all, especially on the Falcons. Not even close. But he is probably the most... He's not even the most elusive quarterback in the NFL today. It's Tyrod Taylor. Tyrod Taylor is way more elusive. His offensive line is way worse. He gets out of trouble all the time. But he is a solid second. But I was giving credit to that move. His move, that spin move against the blind side is amazing.
That move creates plays. And
It does.
But now you just talked about how Michael Vick was able to create plays, and I was saying that Russell Wilson is good at creating plays.
Yes.
That's the only reason why I was comparing them.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I wasn't saying that he would put up the same numbers as Michael Vick. I'm saying he created plays for the Seahawks.
No, he does. Yeah, he does extend the play.
And that's why I like Russell Wilson.
Okay.
Well, he wasn't my favorite quarterback, but that's who I compare Michael Vick to because he was creating plays. Obviously,
Let's go back to Idaho. So, quarterback, because you looked up the Peyton, Michael Vick. Let's get to the point. We're talking about high school, talking about friends, acquaintances, what it's like.
And so it's crazy, right? Is that people already knew I was coming because before I went there, it was during the summer. I finished out my ninth grade year in Washington, and I moved to Idaho that summer. So
Yeah.
I was already making phone calls with the head coach in North Idaho about trying to be quarterback. So people knew I was coming. So I already had. It was like a first round draft pick. They have a more of they're a higher standard. You know what I mean? Like if you come, we expect you to be good. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. Yeah, makes sense.
So
what grade is this?
now I'm in 10th grade.
Okay, yeah. So you're coming in. Bang. Gotcha.
So I go to Idaho and I'm doing good. But you also gotta understand too is people, like you said, it was kind of hard for me to be friends with all of them because they're already they already had their group of friends. So it's kind of it's not hard to add outsiders, but if you have your own group of friends, you don't see a lot of outsiders come in and then join your group of friends.
How big is the school? What are we talking?
I'm talking about 1,700 people.
Like, so you guys have like 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A for the state? Like, biggest schools in the state are in a different category than little schools in the state? Like, playoff-wise and stuff?
Yeah.
So what were you guys?
Our highest was 3A.
Highest was 3A?
Yeah.
And you were 3A?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so yeah, you're in a big school for
big
Idaho.
school. So I had a lot of competition. I did start for the JV for high school. And
Yeah.
Then I did well. You know what I mean? I created some friends, but for me is like I did a lot of bad things in high school. You know what I mean? Like I started smoking weed, and I was cool. I knew a lot of people, and like I said, you had your friends, but a lot of acquaintances. And I was the same way in high school. Like it wasn't that I was like the most popular kid. I knew everybody. I knew people from different schools because I went to parties and I smoked weed with a lot of people. You know what I mean? That's how I knew people. You know what I mean?
Okay.
So one thing I can say is after I graduated high school, I think right now, if I can compare myself to right now and to how I was in high school, I have a lot more friends that support me. Because I think I kind of grew. Because it's weird how I say that because I had my own group of friends in high school.
Yeah.
And I think that since I have a lot more friends now, like I kind of expanded my friends list because I was hanging out with different people and and I was a lot more friendly. You know what I mean? I was just a lot more cooler, I guess. They didn't really like that, you know what I mean? Because I wasn't hanging out with them all the time, you know what I mean? Because I had a lot of friends. Now I have a lot of friends now. I have friends in the Navy, a lot of them support me, and I have friends back home. Not only that, once I had in high school, but I have ones from different schools now.
Yeah,
because we're all older now.
Yeah, you've been around. Yeah, makes sense.
You know what I mean?
So
because I can say for myself is that I've always been the guy like the cheerleader types. You know what I mean? And it's like
you said like the cheerleader type?
Like the cheerleader types of females because that's how I've always been like.
Okay.
So like my standards when it comes to females is pretty high. So I would try to surround myself by people who hangs out with girls like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure. That's definitely huge.
And then in high school I wasn't like that. I wasn't hanging out with that group of friends. You know what I mean? Because I didn't surround myself by the right people. And now since I'm expanding, I'm hanging out what I want to. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I think of myself as a better person now because I wasn't just secluded in one area. Now I'm everywhere. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that kind of I can see.
So that's what I think about me with acquaintances is now since I'm older, I've made a lot more friends than acquaintances. Obviously, I still have those acquaintances, but now I have a lot of people that I can trust. Essentially, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Personally, I kind of see what you're saying. For me, I moved, okay, it's kind of going to sound crazy. So I went to a 4A school. 4A was the highest. Now they have a 5A, I think, I heard. I'm pretty sure Pennsylvania has a 5A now. Bigger states, like I know Texas has 5A, but I think we have 5A now. But anyway, in my heyday, back 2012, all that, like, whole time I was in high school, we had 4A. 4A was the max. Mm-hmm. 4A, 3A, 2A, 1A. We were 4A, but we barely made it, right? But you gotta think, too, we also had, like, so we had our high school, right? And then we had a Westside Tech. Mm-hmm. And people from all these other schools were able to go to Westside Tech, but like not all of them could play for us, but their like enrollment counted towards our school, which was kind of bullshit. Plus, it's still bullshit. Plus, we have another we have another school called ALC, Assholes Last Chance. That's what we like to call it. But it's pretty much like, okay, this kid's been getting in trouble with law enforcement in school. He's cursing at teachers, but he's not mentally retarded. We send him here.
Yeah.
It's like a punish. It's like a pretty much everyone that goes there goes to juvie. And my little brother went there.
We have the same thing. It's called Bridge.
Yeah.
So basically, people who were just like not
just shitty people.
They weren't compatible with public schools. They had to go there and they had to take online classes and get more one-on-one time.
So anyway, that's what made us foray. Totally off topic, but so you know a little background. Anyway, so where I'm from, it's called my school district is Wyoming Valley West, and it's actually 9 towns, 9 or 7, I believe it's 9. Hold on, you got Edwardsville, Larksville, Plymouth, Luzerne, Courtdale, Pringle, Swarsville, 44. I'm missing one. It's got to be 9. Kingston, the one I live in currently. I missed it. But yeah, so 9 towns, right? And we become one. Elementary school, we all go. It's a little different now, but when I went in elementary school, we all went to like each town almost pretty much. There's probably like 6 or 7 elementary schools. We all went to one, and then in middle school, all those combine. They clash. So kind of like 4th grade, 5th grade. There's kids that like that's when you're starting to develop. Like for me, it was like a direct correlation at that time. If you were good at sports, you were cool. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like if you're on my baseball all-star team or whatever, or you're on my football team and you were good, I liked you. You know what I mean? So that's where it starts. So you kind of get your sense there, right? And I'm coming out of elementary school, and I go to middle school. And middle school's like a whole new thing, right?
Yeah.
So I go there, and so it's funny though, because like I'm so young, right? I'm like 11 maybe 12, but I've had this girlfriend since like 3rd grade, right? Since like first time, I was like first kiss and stuff, just do stupid shit like hold hands and shit. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, so I go there and we go to middle school, and there's all these new girls, right?
Yeah.
And here I am, like, what the fuck? Like, there's like all these like little girls that like to me they're like gorgeous, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh my god, and they just like have a different aroma about themselves, because like the school I went to, for the most part, it was like poorer kids than the rest of the 7. So like these girls are wearing like, fucking at the time it's like Abercrombie and Fitch and shit. They're just like, I think they're so cool, and I'm like, they're fucking hot, and I'm like, god damn, I gotta like interact with these chicks, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But the kids I'm hanging out with at this time, they start smoking weed. My friends started smoking weed 5th, 6th grade. My best friends in elementary school, right? For some reason, I knew, I was like, they used to tell me, like, Colin, come smoke. I'm like, dude, I can't smoke. Because my family was so poor, right? And I had so little money, and I knew I would love it. Because the first thing I did, I started to chew. I started to dip, and I loved it. And I was like, okay, I could tell I have an addictive personality. And I was like, if I start smoking weed, I'm going to love it. And back then, you know what I mean? Weed's bad, weed's this, weed's that. Personally, I think at a young age like that, weed is definitely bad. You shouldn't start smoking it when you're fucking 12. Not even when you're 15. Maybe like 16, 17. You start driving a car, then you start smoking weed. But anyway, it's like, so I never smoked, but all these guys start smoking everything, and then I moved a ton of times, like in those 3 little towns I lived in, like Edwardsville and Kingston. Like, they border each other, and like I'd like go from like inside Edwardsville to like right on the border of Kingston and Edwardsville. So my friends were still kind of close. They both lived in Edwardsville too, so like they lived in the same town. We were all pretty close. But then I moved to where our high school was, which is Plymouth, and you can't really walk there from either one. It's a very far walk. None of us have cars yet. So I started hanging out with like a new group of friends in like 7th grade, and from there it's like my friends would come and visit and stuff every once in a while, but we started to like kind of drift off, and they started doing their own thing. I started doing my own thing. They were smoking pot. Me and my friends were just chilling, playing baseball. My new friends, you know what I mean? And Plymouth is kind of more country too, right? Than like Edwardsville. Edwardsville, like literally, it's scumhole. Like it's for the most part. There's nice parts, but the part I lived in was like there's 2 projects within like a fucking quarter mile of each other. There's 2 different sets of projects. Everything's dirty. The main street there is a joke. It's all rundown businesses, dirty as fuck, hobos, crackheads. Anyway, like I'm like our little league football field was right there. One time I was like 10 years old. I'm in the middle of practice. I find a syringe on the ground. I pick it up and I go to my coach. I was like, Coach, I found a shot. He was like, what? And like, it's just fucked up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So anyway, I moved to this Plymouth place. This place is a lot more like country and stuff. Like my friends like, they like riding quads and stuff. Kind of like we go out and we shoot BB guns and shit. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
My backyard was woods. I like this.
Mm-hmm.
This is probably like the 7th house I've lived in, 10th house in this little district here. I lived in more than 18 houses by the time I was 18 years old. Just evicted after evicted, like just going everywhere. But my mom always kept me in the school. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
In the district. So anyway, I started hanging out with these kids, right? And then I start seeing like who these girls are hanging out with, right? And I was like, damn, these girls are cute. You know what I mean? Like I could tell by the time we're high school. My idea of high school at this time too is American Pie. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that shit came out when we were probably, what, like, fucking 3rd grade?
I don't know when it came out, to be honest.
Like, probably like 98, 99, maybe, 2000. You know what I mean? Very early 2000s, late 90s. So when that came out, I saw that and I was like, whoa, those kids are cool. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I want. Like, I wanted to party. At that age.
I was the same way, too. When it comes to females, I like the hot one. I like
100%, right?
I like the hot ones.
So from there, it adapts, right? I started hanging out with all these kids, but then I moved from there again, and I moved back to Edwardsville. But by this time, a lot of my friends, they were going to tech, and like back where I'm from, if you go to like technical high school, like you're just a scumbag. Like people from high school just think they're way better than everyone that goes to technical school.
Mm-hmm.
Like no one talks to them. No, like it's just you don't even talk to them. It's a whole different world.
Mm-hmm.
It's like 2 miles apart, 3 miles apart. No, maybe a little further than that. Maybe like 5, 6 miles apart. Fucking 10-minute drive, but no one talks to each other.
Mm-hmm.
They're just scumbags over there. It's kind of weird, but that's how it goes. But yeah. So I moved back. All those friends started going. So then I started playing freshman football, right? And at this time in my life, me and my family, my mom, my stepdad, we got evicted. We had to live. We rented we were living hotel to hotel when we got evicted from our place in Plymouth.
Mm-hmm.
I had to stay with my friend and his family for like a month. And then I lived with my parents, and they were living in like hotels, motels, like overnight, over in the city, like way far from my middle school, and I'd have to fucking walk to school and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Ride my bike to school like far as fuck. But then we got like a 1-bedroom apartment, so it's like my room at Donnelly, but with a kitchen, and my whole family lives in there. Mm-hmm. Then when I started playing football for like the high school, like for the Spartans, right? Mm-hmm. So it's like my freshman team playing quarterback, yada yada yada. Start playing. I meet a whole new group of friends pretty much on my football team, right? Start hanging out with all these guys. We had a big group in freshman year. Then it kind of narrowed down. When it started narrowing down, that's when I started to drink. 10th grade. Started drinking. Don't play football. Then 11th grade, I played quarterback 9th grade. It's pretty good. I think I could have started. I think I definitely would have started my senior year. I think I could have definitely been like a pretty like decent prospect. Just because, like I said, my friend like on our team, Eugene, fucking wide receiver at Penn State and Oklahoma, he would have made me look a lot better than I actually would have been. I would have been good, but he would have made me look a lot better than good. You know what I mean? Kid could make plays. But I come back after my sophomore year because I refused to play JV, and our quarterback was going to be a senior, and I was only a sophomore. Mm-hmm. No, like I'm not going to go there and fucking play JV. Fuck that. Like I had a job, and I'm like 16. I'm making good money. I'm making like $50 a day. So I'm like fucking blowing this shit. You know what I mean? Just being a fucking idiot. Mm-hmm. So I'm like, I'm not playing football. Fuck that. So I don't play JV. Come back my junior year, and my coaches were like, so at that time, my freshman year, our head coach for varsity is the most winningest coach in Pennsylvania history. Mm-hmm. Right? He leaves by the time I come back my junior year. So it's a whole new coaching staff, pretty much. Mm-hmm. New coach, he's like, hey man, I know you played quarterback, but you're behind mentally. in this offensive system. You're a big guy. I like Eugene at quarterback, to be honest, which is our friend that played wide receiver. And he was going to start his junior year. He's like, I'd love it if you could play tight end. So me, I'm just a naive fuck. I'm just like, okay, yeah, I'll play tight end. I should have refused, right? Should have just been like, no, I'm just going to play quarterback. Fucked up, big time. Anyway, so then from there, I don't know. But, like, I feel like my whole life kind of wrapped around, like you said, chasing those hotter girls. Like, almost all decisions I made was like, okay, I need to hang out with that group of girls. Yeah. And eventually, by the time I was a senior, like, you know, hung out with the hottest girls all the time. So it was, like, kind of the thing. I feel like that definitely plays a huge impact on, like, a young man's life.
You know what's crazy is, like, when I was in high school, like, I always chased him. But I don't know what it was about me. It was just hard, you know. But ever since I joined the Navy, dude, like, I went from having sex with like 6 or 7 girls to like over 50. You know what I mean? Like, I was just a whole different person. Like, you know, I just like this whole different demeanor. You know what I mean? I changed a lot of things, like my confidence, my look, the way I carried myself. I changed everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think that, like, I'm not gonna say that I'm proud of having sex with a lot of girls, but I can say is that it's an experience every time. You know what I mean? It's like, for me, like, every time I talk to a girl and I have sex with her, I get bored. I mean, because it's not a challenge anymore.
And well, yeah. I mean, it depends too. Like, I don't know. If I meet a girl, like, I'm not really looking for a relationship at this point in my life. You know what I mean? I'm young. But if it happened, it happened. I'm like, love is a real thing. You know what I mean? Like, you can definitely fall in love.
Yes.
Like, love is a real fucking thing.
Of course.
But I mean, unless that happens, I'm at the point in my life. You know, when you're like a kid, like, or even in high school, you kind of just like, you don't really love someone. You just like have a relationship just to have a relationship.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's no, I don't have that kind of time now. Like, if it's not real, I don't want it. You know what I mean? That's how I feel about friendship too. Friendship and acquaintances. Like, if it's not real, like, if I'm not interested, if I don't enjoy it, if it's not real for me, I don't want it.
Right.
So yeah, I totally understand. Like, when it comes to girls, like, there's no time here, and especially if a girl puts out first date, like, okay, that's like, I can keep you around as like something fun, but like, I can never take you serious. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like,
you don't know how many times she's done that.
Right, which makes sense. I mean, like I said, I think for myself, is a lot of people ask me, it's like, how do you even like do that? Like, how do you even like have sex with all those girls? But like, for me, it's like, I create as much opportunity as possible. If there's girls involved, then I'm down. You know what I'm saying? It's like, when I
dog.
I was. I mean, I still am. But like, when I got out of high school, I turned 18. We had a hookah bar, and it was a thing. I mean, that was a cool thing to do when you're 18 at the time. So I would always go there, and I'd always meet chicks. I mean, like, because I had longer hair in high school. I cut my hair. I was looking good. You know what I mean? I was talking to a lot more girls and stuff. And then I also, when I got in the Navy, I would do the same thing, go to hookah bars, go out to the beach. Like I said, create as much opportunity as possible. I was on online dating. Like I said,
online dating is a big thing nowadays.
It is. It is. And I think
huge thing. By the way, you don't really read too often, right?
I mean, yeah. It just depends what it is, really.
Yeah, dude. Well, you know Aziz Ansari, like the comedian.
Yeah.
He had this book. He made a book, wrote a book, but it's a serious book. It's not like comedy. It's called Modern Romance, and he like compares romances to, not romances, like relationships and shit. So I guess romance, whatever.
So people who met, like, let's say they met at Starbucks rather than people that met online.
No. What he's doing is, in this book, he interviews like people in retirement homes, like from all over, like New York City and shit, and then like interviews young people, right, and compares like to that day to now. So what I got out of the whole book, I bought it on audiobooks, listen to audio tracks, some lazy dick, but what I got out of it was, so when he's asking, like, the big thing was, women back in the day, you gotta think like grandma, grandpa, they like if you're if you were a daughter, you were very protected in the house. You didn't have too many rights. You know what I mean? Like you weren't as free as they are now. So a lot of times, most of the women that he interviewed, like nearly damn near all of them, like the only way that they can get out of the house at 18, because they didn't go to, not many of them went to college back then. Like you weren't allowed to do all these free things and go on your own. You know what I mean? Like you're helping around the house, you're providing for the family. So the only way to go get out of the house and move out, like they had curfews, they weren't allowed out late. You know what I mean? Like shit like that. Like women were still very protected. Like almost thought of as an object instead of an actual their own person. You know what I mean? That's why women's rights is such a big deal nowadays. And people like bash on that, but that shit was real and it's like recent. But anyway, so now it's like, you know what I mean? Women, like, they have all the opportunity in the world, like, all the same opportunity as men do. So, like, in the modern day, like, they can go, like, they can move out of their house, like, at 18, go to college, you know, travel, do all these things. But back then, the only way you were getting out of your house at 18, 20 years old was if you got married. And that's why, like, the average marriage age back then was so much, I think they said it was, for males, it was like 18, 19, and for women, the average marriage age back then was like 17 years old or 18 years old. And they were doing that. They were getting married, and a lot of them said they married someone that they didn't even love just so they can get out of the house and start their own life.
Right.
And have freedom. So, but nowadays, like I said, like women, like, they can do whatever they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, they can do whatever they want. And in the book, he talks about how grandmothers tell, like, how, like, he'll interview, like, girls our age, 23, 24, 25, and they'll say, like, you know, my grandmother always tells me, like, you know, you have so much, like, you can do whatever you want. Like, go out and really experience the world and men and people. And when you find the right one, like, you'll know. Because, like, don't be like me where I was, like, forced to, they're not forced to get married or put upon a man, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's a really good book. I mean, I enjoyed it. I did. I thought it was, like, it was an interesting topic. Yeah. I had no idea it was like that, but
I think one thing I do like about online dating is that it's good for people, especially for guys. It's good for guys that are not good with talking to girls face to face, because that's always, because you gotta understand
it's a dying art for sure.
Well,
with that,
it's a dying art in the fact that people are more let's just say independent. You know what I mean? So let's just say that a guy that is not good with girls telling him no. Like, for example, if I walk into a girl and say, "Hey, how's it going?" and they say, "No, I'm not interested." You know what I mean? They don't like what am I thinking about?
Rejection.
You know what I mean? So with Tinder and whatever you want, is that you kind of get past that. You know what I mean? Is that you're not in that face to face.
So yeah, the Tinder face to face.
Yeah, so like I was saying, right, is that these guys that are not good with talking to girls with Tinder and these online dating sites, they can surpass that. You know what I mean? They can just get straight to talking. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think
not too much talking, but the approach is
right.
Because talking could still get weird because, I mean, eventually you got to meet this girl in person. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, I think in a sense, it's like, especially for Tinder, right? It's like a swipe left for bad, swipe right for good, whatever.
I'm just steady swipe right. You already know.
Well, obviously.
Until you get the match, yeah, 100%.
Well, I think it's a confidence boost for sure. You know what I mean? You see all the girls that think you're good looking, and now for a guy that doesn't have a lot of confidence, he's like, okay, now I know what I'm worth. You know what I mean?
For sure.
So
yeah.
I think it's a good building block in a sense. So I think, like I said, for me, I said, like I was always creating opportunities. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and that's why I was able to do that with a lot of females, because I was always doing things. So, and I think in a sense that it's always an experience, right? And like for me, I like to have fun a lot. I like to party. I like to drink. I like to talk to females. I like to have a good time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, if it's a good time, I'm down. You know what I mean? I've always been down. You know what I mean? So like going to clubs, dancing with females, meeting new females. I mean, obviously you're not gonna hit every time. That's a fact. But as long as you create opportunities where you go out, you don't get a girl. Okay, that's just one night. Go out a different night. I mean, that's the cool part of being young, is that those times shouldn't like make you feel bad. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I get the total rejection thing too, but also like, as he said, like he did these studies, right? And like, not all girls. Okay, so like, yeah, I think like girls are like, females are so hard to predict. They're all so very different compared to men. Like men were easy, you know what I mean? Like there's a few things we need. We need what? You need to be like good looking. That's pretty much about it.
Yeah.
To be honest.
Right.
I mean, that's just to like have fun, but like in a serious girl, like guys kind of have their different like perspectives. You know what I mean? They have their different preferences, but they're not as serious as females, right?
Right.
That's why like people say like it's easy to be a slut. It's hard to be a player because to be a slut, like all you have to do is say yes. It's literally all you have to do is say yes. To be a player, like you know, you got to be smart, you got to be witty, you got to be charming, you got to be good looking. You know what I mean? It's hard. It's more challenging than to be a slut. That's why it's so frowned upon to be a slut. You know what I mean?
Well, and the thing with that is, right, is like you said, like to be a player, you got to be witty, and that's the thing. That's why I loved talking to a bunch of girls, and like trying to get with them because it was always a challenge. Because like I said, not every girl is different, so obviously you got to switch up your game every time. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So obviously you have some baseline methods.
Yeah,
but obviously you have to change it up. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And that's why I would, like I said, progressing throughout my time in my 20s is that I was able to get good at it. You know, like it was easy. All you gotta do is just be nice, be a little adventurous, and you just gotta be. You can't be like bland. You know what I'm saying? Girls, I think in my opinion, do not like guys that are just like boring. Well, obviously that's obvious fact. You know what I'm saying? So I try to be non-boring as possible. But I truly believe that what I used to think is that I always thought that girls like want guys to pay for go on a first date, right? Like what do guys think girls think? Is that they want them to pick them up, take them out to eat, movies or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's how you get them, right?
Yeah.
My method really is that I would pick them up, but I wouldn't go anywhere nice. I'd go to like a cheap taco place, hole in the wall place, a place cheap. Get something to eat, not very big, like fairly small, and just talk the whole time. Because if you believe it or not, I think girls love that shit. Because I think it's different because not all guys do that. Because they always think like, well, I'm taking them out to Red Lobster or Olive Garden, somewhere expensive, because they're gonna think that they're gonna think that I'm professional, I guess. I wouldn't say in that sense. I guess that's the best way I can think about it right now.
Yeah, I can see what you're saying. I can definitely see what you're saying.
So I truly believe that you can take a girl on a date spending $20. You know what I mean? And it's obviously you're not.
Well, it's also not about the quality of the food or like the service. It's about meeting the other person for the first time.
Right, and that's why I emphasize so much on basically just taking a girl out and just like maybe going hiking. Because not only are you bonding in like a motion, you know what I'm saying, like having a good time, but you're also talking a lot.
Yeah, for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Because if you meet a girl
isolated,
if you meet a girl at the club, you have very little time to impress them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, but alcohol is also involved, and girls usually only go to the club for. I mean, not all girls, but most of the time, like your success of having a one night stand at a club compared to like. I met this girl and now I'm going hiking, like, and getting laid. You know what I mean? Like, the chance that just, like, meeting a girl at the club and it's, like...
Well, and that's what I'm saying, too, is girls that don't go to clubs to talk. You know what I'm saying?
Those are usually the more difficult ones, for sure.
Well, what I'm trying to say is if you... Think of a female, right? They go to the club, they want to go dancing, right? Yeah. So, you have very little time to, once you meet her, to you taking her home, or you getting the text, or getting or be able to get her number or whatever.
Yeah.
You have very little time to impress her.
Oh, for sure.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Rather than meeting her,
it's loud.
Rather than meeting her at a
You
park,
got very few words to use.
You know what I mean? There's not a lot of distractions. So I think there's a huge difference. So and that's, as a person, like a dude, you got to be able to adapt. You know what I mean? And that's why I say I'm being nice. For me, like I've always had the hard problem. Is like when I was in high school, I didn't hang out with. It was mainly white because it was North Idaho, right?
Yeah.
But ever since I got in the Navy, I hung out with more black guys because like they were all about girls and they were all about partying and dancing, and that's what I like to do.
Yeah, for sure.
So like when I go to the clubs, we were dancing, and there'd be females, and they just go right behind the girl and start dancing on her. Like it's hard for me to do that. You know what I mean? It's just hard because it's just not me. You know what I mean? I just can't do that.
Is it the fear of rejection, you think, or what?
I think it's a lot of the fear of rejection, and it's also because it's like I'm not confident enough in that
regard. Okay.
And you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not confident in that spot yet.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It takes time. So it's like I said, it's because I'm being friendly. You know what I mean? So I think, So I think if you go to the club, you gotta be confident, and you gotta know what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because girls like that. You know what I mean? And
for sure.
So, and I personally think that like I've met some girls at the club, and I think it sucks if you go once you turn 21 and start going to the bars and clubs.
The whole game changes for sure.
Well, you're a freshman.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Because
21, freshman.
Because I met this girl one time, and she was good looking, very good looking, and like we met, we started talking, had a good time talking. We were at a club talking. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like she seemed interested in me until she asked me how old I was. I was like, I'm 21. She's like, oh, I'm 25. You're too young for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it definitely happens to every guy, and that's when you learn to lie about the age.
And now, obviously,
you have to.
And I think I'm now 23. So for now, I am 21.
In reality, 21.
Reality, 21.
23 club age.
Exactly. So one thing I can say is that if you're a female or a guy going to a club and looking for a husband or a wife or a girlfriend or a boyfriend, you're a fucking idiot.
Yeah.
So that's why I think the age doesn't really matter, because if you're having a good time, if you're 25 and I'm 21 and you're a female, what can you do that I can't do other than get low car insurance, or you can rent a car?
Absolutely nothing. Yeah.
Exactly. So why, if you and I are having a good time, why can't we hang out? Girls don't think that way. They want guys that are more mature, or they want guys that are more successful, or have already been successful. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Rather than having a good time and talking to somebody that's actually interested in you. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
And that's what sucks. It sucks because like that for me, I'm a friendly person. That's why every time I talk to a girl, I try to make myself interesting. I'm not saying I lie about myself, but I try to make the conversation interesting, so we're both having a good time. You know
have you ever lied about yourself and made up a story?
Oh, of course.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, yes, I think we all have. You know what I mean? Like I said, I told a girl I was 23. That's lying about myself.
Yeah, no, but I mean, especially here in San Diego, it's a huge military thing. Like, you get guys that go out and they're like, "Oh, what do you do?" I'm a Navy SEAL. You know what I mean? You hear that shit all the time. It's like,
you know what I mean? And I think it's kind of hard to do that out in San Diego.
Get a little bit of that
because
you're good whenever.
Is that girls kind of catch on to that because they're around Navy, Marine guys all the time.
Yeah, for sure.
So it's kind of hard to get away with that,
But have you ever have you ever done that? Have you ever been like,
I'm a SEAL,
or I'm a SEAL, or
no,
I'm a lawyer? You know what I mean, like stuff like that. No, never lied about profession or
no. I keep it kind of simple. I mean, obviously I'm a firefighter in the Navy, and that's good enough.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think every girl likes guys that are in a position of saving lives or authority. You know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely.
So if you say you're a firefighter, girls are interested because that's cool that you save lives and you know what I mean, you protect people. I mean, girls like that shit.
Yeah, for sure.
So I don't really have to
uniform in general.
Exactly. So girls, so I don't have to really have to lie about that. Only the biggest lie really is my age.
The age, yeah.
You know what I mean? Because
same here.
because I've developed my communication skills so much where I don't have to lie.
Yeah, yeah.
So like I said, I constantly ask questions. You know what I mean? Then that's how I keep the conversation going.
One of my favorite quotes from Al Pacino: "I always tell the truth, even when I lie." It's from Scarface.
Yeah, well,
Great quote.
Well, yeah, what that really means is that if you're gonna tell a lie, at least make it.
No, what that really means is you're telling the truth, but also a lie. So let me think of an example. An example would be, let me think. So, fuck, it's hard to put me on the spot like this. So, an example would be, this is a kind of relatable one. So say there's like, say back to high school, whatever. Like say there's a dude that doesn't actually play football, but he's on the team. Like he's gonna tell a girl like, yeah, I play football. But he's not gonna say like he's lying about actually playing football like on the team. Like he doesn't start or anything. He doesn't get any playing time, but he still plays football. But he leaves that part out. So what he means by that quote is like, you're telling the truth, but like in a very vague sense, where like you're lying about it. You know what I mean?
You know what I mean? Oh yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know, it's very cool. I've done that sometimes in scenarios like, not really with chicks, but like I've definitely first of all I don't like to lie. Like a few of my friends know that about me. Like I don't like to lie. Like it's not. I don't think it's. I think if you like by you lying, I'm a big fan of like. People say like vibes and like positive energy, negative energy. Like I think that shit's real. Like if someone walks into a room, and they're always just a negative person, like we could be having a good old time. They walk in the room and like kind of like doles it down a little bit. Like you feel their presence. Like
right.
I'm really big into energy. I think lying just creates negative energy around you and in your life. Not only that, it's also you're not being true. I think being your truest form and being who you really are is like I think that's very important.
Right.
So I don't like to lie.
And that's good, and that's why. I mean,
in all senses, like in
right.
all aspects of life, I don't like to lie. I feel like it's running away from your issues, your problems, who you are.
Right.
You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
It's very weak. Lying is weak to me.
Yeah.
I feel like if you lie and you lie often, you're a weak man or a woman. I think you're a weak person.
Well, it makes sense because you're. I mean, I'm not gonna say that. I have never lied before. I mean, obviously.
Yeah, for sure. We've all done it, but
we've both done it. But I mean, obviously, if you're constantly lying,
I try to limit it to like I hardly ever lie anymore.
Yeah.
Like one of my biggest things too. It sounds stupid. It sounds simple, but like, you're on my ship. We work together. We're both in the Navy together. My farts are fucking horrendous. Like they're really bad.
Yeah.
Like when I fart, it smells like shit. It's really bad.
Yeah.
So, like, when I'm in the shop, we have, like, these little workspaces, and all my people are in there, like, all the people I work with, our team, someone will smell someone farted, and they'll be like, Coleman, that was you, and I'm like, no, it wasn't. And I do that, and, like, I used to hate when, like, people would be like, Coleman, I know it was you, like, I know that was you. So, what I started to do was, like, if I farted, I'd be like, it sounds dumb and stupid, but I'd be like, okay, I just farted. Like, I would say it so when I actually didn't fart, people would believe me that I didn't fart. Like, I would always admit to it so that when I actually didn't, I wouldn't get blamed for something I didn't do.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I think that's sort of, too, like, when I was, like, so when it came to pot and weed, like, I didn't smoke weed until my senior year.
Yeah.
And I would come home sometimes, like, completely sober, and my mom would be like, did you just smoke weed? Like, I know you're high. Look at your eyes. I know you're high. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like, I'd be like 10th grade, and I never smoked weed in my life. And she wouldn't believe me. Like, that shit really pissed me off. So, I try to tell the truth and nothing but the truth. So, like, I don't get blamed for shit I didn't do.
Right. And
so that shit pisses me off.
I think I can relate to that because, like,
that shit really
every time I smashed a girl, I had sex with him, I'd always tell it the next day. No. I gotta tell my boys, you know what I mean? I gotta tell them what happened.
Yeah.
And every time I come into work after I have sex, I always tell everybody. Well, I don't tell everybody, but I tell them, guys, this is what happened to me last night. This is what I did. I did it.
So be it.
You know what I mean? So, that every time I have sex with a girl, it's true. Because I always tell it after I do it. I mean, I can't, I guess people say don't kiss and tell. Like me, I don't really give a fuck.
Yeah.
Because, you know what I mean? Because I like stories. Every time I hear like one of my friends having sex with a girl, I want to know every aspect of what happened.
Oh, I know.
Because it's interesting. It's
I
like
know.
it's like when you watch porno. Like when you watch porno, like I like to watch from start to beginning. Well, let me rephrase that. I don't like to watch everything because that's weird. But I like to watch the beginning, like the beginning story, like what happens. You know what I mean? Because it's interesting. I mean, obviously it's really corny, but it really leads up. You know what I mean? Because
I
like,
agree.
You can
I
be
see what you're
chilling.
saying.
You can be chilling, and like you watching the video, you're like, okay, oh shit. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah,
it
initial
gets
startup
it gets
is-
you horny. Like, oh shit, that's fucking nice.
Yeah,
And then once they start banging, you're fucking going to town because like you know what happened. Like, I fucked the shit out of her. She did that to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It makes it so much better. Like it
Totally
sets
agree.
the mood.
But like our pornos, like sometimes I see them and I'm like, who the fuck sat there for an hour and watched the whole fucking thing? You know what I mean? Like an hour porno, like it's a long fucking time to watch a porno.
What do you mean?
Dude, like some porns, like you look at the time and it's like 59 minutes, 57 minutes. Like that's a long
Like I know
fucking
people
porn.
watch it for that long.
Well, what I'm saying is, why the fuck is it that long? Who the fuck's actually gonna watch the whole thing? But there's definitely people out there that do. I mean, there's people out there that do weird shit. For example, totally off topic. Today, I walk in and one of the EMs, right? Fucking woof.
What is EM?
Electrician's mate in the Navy, okay? So an EM, yeah, they're an electrician. Pretty much all they do is fuck with electrical shit. But anyway, we share like a berthing with them. Like it's kind of like our dorm room. It's a big dorm room. It's fucking let's say it's bunk beds, but they're like fucking this big. I can't even roll on my side. It fucking sucks. And they're not 2 stacked, they're 3 stacked. So there's 3 beds in each one, and there's a fuck ton of them. And pretty much all the engineers, guys that work on, equipment, actual people in the Navy, not people that just do fucking, paperwork all day. But we all live in this same little room. It's kind of big, actually. But the space that we live in is very limited and very tiny. So, EM, Wolf, right? I walk in, and he's like watching a video, and he's talking about it. He's like, oh shit. And then I'm like, what the fuck you watching? He's like, it's Dr. Pimple or some shit. And he watches videos of this doctor who like pops big cysts or pimples. And that's like a thing. He said on Facebook, this chick has, I think it was 3 million likes, like followers, friends. Like and I know people that are like that like that shit. Like my mom likes popping. Like I would have a pimple and she'd be like, let me pop it. Like that's a weird fucking thing, dude. Is it not? Like, and that's like a popular thing. Like there's a decent amount of people that are into watching pimples pop and like the shit come out. Like it's fucking gross.
I wouldn't say that I'm into it, but I've watched them motherfuckers.
Dude, they're fucking nasty.
You know what?
I don't watch
don't
that
think.
shit. If I see that shit, I immediately scroll down. Like
I don't think it's. Yes, it's of course it's nasty, but when you pop a pimple, it's kind of satisfying.
Is it the relief? Like, is it a bigger aspect, or is it just the pimple? Like, I don't even get it. Like,
Well,
I read one time that popping pimples is bad, so I could have a huge pimple on my face and I just let it sit there, like, all day. I don't pop it, because I heard it's bad for I heard it causes more pimples.
Yeah, see, I can't do that. Like, I'm like I said, I like to, I hate having pimples. You know what I'm
Yeah,
saying?
they fucking suck, for sure.
It sucks. So like popping pimples is like, and like popping like blackheads, where the fuck. I think it's like satisfying. You know what I'm saying?
It's weird. It's weird.
It's very weird to say.
I find it weird,
but it's. And I think people can relate to that because it's satisfying.
I know, that's what I'm saying. Like, a lot of people are into that, but to me, that's weird. But again, what did I say weird was? What do people consider weird? Something different from what you do.
What I'm saying? I don't think that watching pornos for an hour is cool. I mean, that's way too fucking long.
Yeah, it's a long time, man.
But obviously, you go to a porn store or adult store, like they have like DVD.
Have you been to an adult store?
Yeah, it's weird as fuck.
I've never been. I've never went into one.
It's not weird. I think buying stuff there is weird. For example,
I don't know, if you're buying porn videos in this day and age, you're a fucking idiot. It's a huge waste of money.
Right, but they're still out there. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know, but it's fucking stupid.
Like you go to Walmart, there's still DVDs. You know what I'm saying? People still buy them shits.
Yeah,
it's not as popular as.
Well, a DVD and a porn are totally different. Like,
no, they're not.
I'm not looking for like a quality porn that I have to purchase it. Like, what I'm getting for free, the millions and billions of things that I can watch on, say, fucking
RedTube or whatever.
Well, you can do the same thing
By
for
the way,
actual movies.
RedTube sucks. I didn't use RedTube.
Well,
Fuck
no.
RedTube.
You can do that same thing with movies. So it's the same.
That's like a piece of art.
No.
Like almost like it's like buying a record. Like you can get music for free, everyone does it, but actually owning the record is like, it's like having a collection.
You know they have porn awards, right?
I know.
So how are you gonna say it's not a work of art?
It's
you
not,
go,
though,
dude. That's bullshit. Because people in India, they actually praise that shit. They have a whole fucking like what is it? What's the thing called where they have a bunch of different positions and shit? What's that shit called?
I know what you mean.
Yeah, like they actually like worship that bullshit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So you can't say it's not art in a sense. I guess it's like one of those, like those values things or whatever. But what I'm trying to say is right. They have it because some people still buy it. But for me, I'm not gonna go in there. And this is what I think would happen. Like I couldn't go in there and buy a fucking a fleshlight and go downstairs, and there would be a hot ass girl working at the register, and like the eye connection I'll have when I say here, this is what I'm buying, and she just looks at me like, oh, you can't get any girls. No, it's just not that. I just want one. I just want to skip that entirely. I'd rather buy that shit online.
Yeah, 100%.
I'm not saying I have one, but if I were gonna buy one, I'd buy it online because I'm skipping that confrontation. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's
and that's
if I were to do that, I'm gonna have sunglasses on, a hood. I'm looking like the fucker right in the pussy.
Exactly. You know what I'm saying? It's like I think it's so much easier for girls because I think you don't see a lot of guys having like fucking fleshlights or whatever they're called.
Fleshlights.
I know, but there's another term. They're not fleshlights. Is like a brand?
Yeah, but they're all pretty much considered a pocket pussy.
Pocket pussy. Like you don't see a lot of guys with pocket pussies, but girls with dildos, that's the normal thing.
Yeah.
You get what I'm trying to say? Because girls can finger themselves and shit, but like
they're also more difficult to please, like for sure, like 100%.
Girls?
Yeah. Than a guy?
Well, yes, obviously. But what I'm trying to say is like guys can just be fine with just jerking off their hands.
Yeah, exactly.
Girls with fingers, I mean, it's cool, but they'd rather use dildos. I assume so because a lot of girls have. Like I think if you look at the average girl in America, I think at least 6 out of 10 of them have a dildo. Now, if you look at 1 out of 10 guys in America, how many have a fucking pocket pussy? Maybe 1 or 2.
Maybe 1 or like 0.5.
You get what I'm trying to say. So I think it's more okay for girls to do that, but for guys, it's like we can't get any pussy or something.
Yeah. I guess it's kind of a pride thing at that point. You know
exactly.
What I mean?
That's why I can't do it. Going into it, it's kind of cool looking at shit because they have like weird ass shit, and it caught a lot of cool shit, I guess, in a sense. Like I saw this one fucking thing where like it's like an ass. You know what I'm saying? Like if a girl is bending over, you cut like her body and her legs.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
And it's just the ass.
It's like
and that.
Half torso, ass, like 1/10 thigh.
You know what I'm saying? You just have your asshole and your pussy, and then guys just fuck the shit out of it. Like, could you imagine like
walking in on somebody doing that?
That's fucking weird, dude.
Yeah.
And like some people actually buy dolls and shit. Like
the dolls. So you gotta think too. So the dolls are a big thing in Japan because there are way more males in Japan than there are females.
Oh yeah.
Like by a long shot. It's almost to the point where, over in Japan, the girls, like, it's so bad that you have to be like rich to get a girl. Like it's like you have to be rich, successful, and a good-looking guy to have a girl in Japan. And all the guys over there are going nuts. Like, dudes need sex. Like, you need sex. Like, it's huge. It's, like, vital. So, if these guys aren't getting laid for, like, fucking years at a time, like, because they can't get girls because they don't have money or they're not extremely successful or extremely good-looking, they started making those dolls.
Yeah.
I saw one yesterday. It's a blowjob machine.
Dude, I've heard about that.
Did you see it?
No, I haven't seen it yet.
Oh, dude, you gotta watch it.
Is it Beast?
It's pretty nuts. So it's like the doll thing, fully clothed. She goes in like this little metal thing, and it goes underneath her. And like the body's like metal, but you like cover it. Like people put like the video I saw, they put like a hoodie on it, and it's like the girl's head and has hair and shit. And so it's kind of like a platform, and it goes like this. I guess you can adjust the speed and shit, and it's just a girl with, like, a mouth, and her mouth, like, opens wider or smaller, or, like... It's like one of those sex dolls, but with just, like, a face and a mouth. And it goes over this thing. It was pretty wild. I saw it. I couldn't believe it.
Was it on Facebook or something, or on YouTube?
I saw it on Twitter. Joe Rogan fucking retweeted it.
Oh,
it's pretty funny. But it's like a real thing. Like it's a real problem over there. So they kind of need that stuff.
Yeah, I just think that's kind of weird because it's like,
hold on. Sorry. Off the sex doll topic. You know how we ate dinner before at the galley, and I told you I had a question to ask you, but I want to save it for this.
Yeah.
Interesting question. This is going to get deep. We're about to get into some shit. But, what do you think the worst way to die would be? Besides, like, torture. Like a cause of death.
I would say
sometime today.
I would think that if you were in a house that was on fire and that there was no way you can get out, and you die by fire, obviously, or you're drowning. Reasons why I say that is because like there's nothing you can do. You know what I mean? Obviously, if you're getting tortured, like, there's nothing you can do, but we're not talking about that.
Yeah.
Like drowning, like, it's not like you instantly die. Like, you, like, literally, like, you're going through emotion, like, your heart's beating really fast, and you're freaking out, and there's nothing you can do. Like, it's just the inevitable. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that's why I think that's the worst way of dying, because it's like...
You think drowning?
Drowning or like, if you're trapped in a fire.
I would have to say burning to death, 100%. They actually say that drowning is actually like one of the most peaceful ways to die. So you gotta think with drowning too. So it's not gonna last very long. You're not gonna feel much pain. When you drown, say you drown in the middle of the ocean, right? So if you drown, you're holding your breath for as long as you can. Like you're gonna pass out like far before you die, right?
Yeah.
You're gonna pass out and you're not gonna feel anything. Like a lot of people that have drowned and come back to life. I've like read a lot of things and I've watched a lot of videos of like people that have drowned and like have been revitalized, and they said it was extremely peaceful because like they had an out of body experience, which is very popular when you die or when you get fucked up. Like I've heard multiple stories personally and like
what
online.
What do you mean?
Like an out of body experience. Okay, so you know MM3 or MM2 Ramirez.
Yeah.
How he has the that scar on his forehead.
Yeah.
So he used to live in like an apartment complex. He told me. And this kid pushed him down the steps, right? And he split his fucking head open down the middle.
Right.
And he was immediately knocked out. And he was, like, bleeding profusely. So he was knocked out, like, cold the whole time. He told me, like, he saw everything from, like, an out-of-body experience. Like, he saw his own body laying there. Saw his mom run, crying, come and get him, take him to the hospital. But he was out. He was unconscious the entire time.
Right.
So when drowning, like, when you drown, a lot of people say, like, they just kind of, like, zoom out and just watch their body just floating there. And then, like, someone will get them and give them out to mouth or anything. And they, like, even people in surgery. Like, there's times when people get surgery, and I've seen videos on this, I've read about this. Like, people get surgery, and they'll explain the entire, like, they're out, like, cold. Like, they're out. But they explain, or people have flatline stuff in hospital beds, and they'll explain, like, okay, yeah, this guy fucking grabbed the fucking things and revitalized me, and this guy was, like, coughed during the middle of it. Like, a lot of people have done that. So when they say drowning, like, I don't think drowning's as bad. But besides burning to death, I would have to go with, like, dying from lack of water. Like, that would fucking suck, because it's long and it's slow. You know what I mean? Like, if you were stranded, like, say in the desert or something, and you didn't have water, that would fucking suck, dude. That would be very slow, that would fucking suck.
Yeah.
That'd be a horrible way to go out. Or being buried alive, too. Fuck that, dude.
Yeah, I think that'd be horrible too. Like I said, it's just like that. Like
but the fire thing, oh, jeez.
You just can't do nothing. You know what I mean? It's just like you're fucked. Like I've always wondered, like if the thing was true, like if you were dying, like you would like flashback your whole life. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Like right before you die, like you remember like it's like a flashback of every memory you have.
That is true though. That is totally true.
What do we mean? Like how does it work?
Okay, so You know what DMT is, right?
Yeah.
The most powerful hallucinogenic in the world?
No, it's not, but...
Yes, it is. What is?
I don't know. I know it's not, but I know there's some shit.
100% is the most
There's
powerful
no way.
hallucinogenic in the world. What do you mean? Dimethyltryptamine, DMT. It's the most illegal substance in the world, drug, and it's also the most powerful hallucinogenic there is. It's a fact. Stronger than shrooms, LSD, all that shit.
Anyways.
What do you think is?
I know I've seen fucking shows about shit that's like way stronger than that.
I'm telling you.
I know what it's made out of. I know what it's made out of.
I'm big into this.
But I do think there's more shit.
I've done a lot of research on this, and it is the most powerful hallucinogenic that exists on Earth.
Okay, let's move on.
But anyway, so yeah, like your brain produces it through the pineal gland, right? And the pineal gland, like, this shit's big, dude. So, like, have you ever seen the Eye of Horus, like that Egyptian eye thing with like the fucking thing under it? You know what I mean? It's like a famous Egyptian fucking thing. Here, I can probably pull it up in the meantime. But anyway, yeah, and even in Catholicism, like, I was listening to a podcast the other day, and it was actually Rogan, and Rogan went to Italy, and he went to the where does the Pope hang out? What's this thing called?
The Vatican?
The Vatican, yeah. He went to the Vatican.
Yeah.
In the middle of the Vatican, there's a giant, like, painting of a pine cone, right? And the pineal gland is shaped like a pine cone. And there's, like, pine cone paintings. Like, there's pine cones in a lot of paintings. And, like, this guy was giving him a tour, and he was telling him how the pine cone was, like, they looked at the pine cone as, like, a way to see the future and a way to, you know, talk to God and everything. And Joe Rogan was telling the guy about DMT and the pineal gland, how it actually looks like a pine cone, and that guy was fascinated. He had no idea. He's like, he's like, he had no idea what DMT was or the pineal gland or any of that. But anyway, so yeah, like they say, right before you die, your body produces heavy doses of DMT. It also does it when you're in heavy REM sleep. So, I mean, personally, I've done it. I was cliff jumping with some friends, right? And there's this cliff, right? And there's part of the cliff is like on an angle and it's real flat. And you like there's a little section called the rundown, and you can run down it and you jump off. You take like 4 steps and you jump off. But then on top of it, there's like this little metal ring on the rock, and you have to jump over the flat part, the rundown, right? So it's like the highest one at this spot, and I went to go jump off it one time. I was probably, fucking 14 years old, and when I did it, I took my step, and I fucking, my back foot clipped my lead foot, and I completely tripped right from the jump. Like, didn't even go anywhere, just tripped. I fucking rolled down the cliff, and at the bottom of the cliff, some of the cliff on the ass end, like, on the bottom, it, like, hangs out. Like, there's rocks underneath that you have to clear.
Right.
So, I jumped, and I rolled down that rundown thing. At the last second, I pushed off with my foot, and I thought I was going to hit these rocks, and I just missed them. But before that, dude, like, everything was just so slow. Like, it was in such slow motion. The way I pushed off, like, the way I was rolling, it was just fight or flight. Like, I'm sure you've been there, you know what I mean? Running from the cops when you were a kid, or, like, snowball someone's house and come out and chase you or whatever.
Yeah.
Like, shit slows down. You're more reactive. But when I jumped, like, I it's hard to explain, but, I mean, I didn't see my whole life flash before my eyes. I don't know if I really thought I was going to die, but I thought I was going to get fucked up. And it was just, like, when I came out of the water, like, everything was just so clear. It was like I just saw the world for the first time. Because, for a second, I thought I was going to die or get really hurt.
Yeah.
So when I came out of the water, like, I swam to the top of the water. There was, like, 3 people around me that were swimming towards me. Like, dude, are you alright? You alright? I don't even know those people. They were just at the same swimming spot. And they're like, are you alright? Are you alright? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. But, like, just, like, coming out of the water, dude, it was like I seen the world for the first time. Like, just came out of my mom's vagina, and I was aware of it. Like,
yeah.
It was pretty nuts. Near-death experiences, those things are something else.
Right.
But, that thing right there.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
So that's the Eye of Horus, right? And now if you look at the brain, right, and the pineal gland, it looks exactly like this. the pineal gland is this little thing that looks like an acorn that hangs down right here. But there's this little gap. It's shaped the exact same way. And it has these two little things. And you got to think, too, the Egyptians were really big into dissecting. And they started a lot of research on, like, human anatomy and stuff. And, like, the inside of human bodies because they would dissect their dead.
Right.
So for them to know somehow how important that this is, that this became a national symbol that's still recognized today, the Eye of Horus. I mean, and even the Vatican, like, that's some powerful shit, dude.
Yeah.
It's I think it's very unstudied stuff. For sure.
Which I can agree to. I think I've always wanted to do DMT just to try it.
Yeah, I would do it as well, but I wouldn't do it now at this point in my life. I've always heard that you should do it like when you're extremely comfortable with your life. I guess I could do it now. I mean, I want to do ayahuasca more than anything.
What's that?
So, DMT, like, you have to smoke DMT, right? I forget the exact name, but there's enzymes in your stomach that block it if you ate it. Like, if you ate it, you'd be completely fine.
Right.
Because there's enzymes in your stomach that block the chemical release that, like, fucks you up.
Right.
But the Amazonians, like, back in the day, they created this brew from this tree and this root that grows off the tree. And they get the DMT from the tree, and they blend it in this herb with the root, and they, like, boil it for, like, hours, and they stir it up into this brew called ayahuasca. And the root has these molecules in it that block the enzymes in your stomach that they fight those off, that the ones that protect you from the DMT when you like ingest it.
Uh-huh.
So you're able to drink it. And now I know you smoked weed, and have you ever done edibles, like brownies or anything? Like, brownies are way different than smoking weed, you know what I mean? It's like they last like way longer. You're way more fucked up, but it takes a while to kick in. So it's like that because it goes through two different systems. Like, when you smoke, it goes through your respiratory system, right? Like your lungs and everything. It goes through a totally different functioning system in your body and enters your blood a totally different way than if you digest it. Like, digesting takes hours. So when you drink DMT in the ayahuasca form, it's much more powerful and it lasts a long time. I wouldn't say it's much more powerful because I've also heard that if you smoke it, like, out of a bong, it can be, like, more powerful, but it only lasts a little longer. Like, it only lasts a little bit compared to the ayahuasca where it lasts hours. And it feels like almost days, like, when you take it. And so you go to these places, like, I think the big one down in Amazon, it's called, like, Blue Origin. Blue something, I forget. You can do some research on it, or maybe Blue Morphin. It's like a famous butterfly down there, and this place is named after that, but it's like a retreat. It's like a week long. It'll come with, like, 4 ayahuasca trips, and you do it, and, like, you'll go in, like, a fucking, like, little canoe down the Amazon and, like, visit these tribes and shit. I heard it's, like, everything I've heard from it, it's fucking amazing.
So, like, what does DMT make you feel like?
I don't know personally. I've never done it.
But, like, what does people say?
So, what people say is, like, it's a totally life-changing experience. Like, anything that has to do with psychedelic, you either have a good trip or you can have a bad trip. Like, you have to take these things very serious. Psychedelics, you have to take them extremely serious, and you have to respect it. Because if you don't, it could fuck you up. Like, people that do it for fun, like, and just shits and giggles, like, every time I've ever tripped, I take it completely serious. Like, I take it as, like, a life-altering event. I really do. It has a huge impact on your life. It's very, like, sacred to me. I don't take it as, like, yeah, I took shrooms so I can go giggle and, like, watch funny movies, you know what I mean? Like, that's not why. I do it to, like, go evaluate my life and evaluate the things I love. Like, even just small psychedelics, like, say psilocybin or, LSD, like, when you do those kind of things, like, when you're done, I take so much out of those experiences besides, like, yeah, it was funny, like, I saw the earth, like, move, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not that kind of person. Like, you have to take it very serious. Like, I come out of those things and I reevaluate, like, my life. Like, I realize, the things you love, like, what you should love, what you shouldn't. Just, it's a total reevaluation of your entire life, and I find it extremely beneficial. And
so, anyways, what does people say about DMT? Like,
okay, so DMT, like, all right, well, there's like everyone's trip is obviously different, right?
Right. Well, obviously there has to be some median.
I mean, I guess. Well, yeah. So DMT, most people say like Joe Rogan explains it really good. He has like a video on YouTube you could watch. It's like 10 minutes long. There's a documentary about it on Netflix called The Spirit Molecule.
But I've seen it's purple or it's like
yeah. So I don't know. People say like they smoke it and like the way Rogan explains it, he goes like you don't feel like you're in another universe. You actually get transcended into another universe. He's like, and in this universe, you know, light has no barrier. Like everything is all being. You know, he says like I've seen colors I've never seen before. I've seen this Buddha god that it was made out of light, but it had no outline. If that makes sense, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
it's just extremely visual. I would imagine. Like, I don't know. I've never done it, so it's kind of hard to talk about the topic. Like, if you really want to know, you gotta listen to some of the things that people say that have done it. You gotta watch some videos or listen to other things that people have said. But yeah, it's definitely. I find it fascinating, and I can't wait to go do it. It's definitely gonna happen sometime in my lifetime. There's other ones too where you can go visit Machu Picchu. And I've always wanted to go to Machu Picchu, so I think that'd be really sick.
Yeah.
Like go make that hike on DMT, it'd be fucking or ayahuasca, it'd be fucking dope. But yeah, I even took an Uber the other day, right? And my fucking Uber driver was from Peru. And I was asking about DMT, and he's like, yeah, I've done it. Or ayahuasca. He's like, yeah, I've done it multiple times. It's like big, like it's part of my culture. Mm-hmm. And I was talking about like the place that I heard of, like Blue Morphin or Origin, whatever the fuck it is. And he was telling me, he's like, yeah, that's like the biggest place that everyone knows of in the States. But, you know, he said there's so many places like that. And since that one's the most popular, it's stupid expensive. He's like, you can go there and talk to some locals, and they'll point you in the right direction. And you could save a lot of money and have just as good an experience. But, I mean, I don't know. Like, I trust some of the people that I've heard that have taken it, like, you know, Joe Rogan and Aubrey Marcus, who's, like, his business partner and on it. It's like, I kind of, you know, like, trust those guys. You know, everything that I've ever heard them say or talk about has been true to me. And, you know, I would take their word for that place and just pay the extra money on a good time rather than, because that's it. Like I said, you got to respect that process. Like, it's like buying a fucking $2,000 car against, like, a fucking $25,000 car, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, there's going to be a fucking difference. Like, maybe you could find a good deal, but maybe it could fuck you up in the end, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think the money isn't a factor, and it should definitely.
How much did they say it was?
I've looked it up. It's like we got to think too. So you're at a retreat, so it's like a lodge. Like you stay there for a week.
Right.
They pick you up at the airport. They feed you, all foods included. You know what I mean?
Right.
And I think it's like $1,800 at that place.
That's it?
Yeah, it's not like too stupid.
And it's in
Peru.
Not too bad.
No, not at all. But have you ever tripped in general, or?
Yeah, I've done shrooms twice. I smoked a lot of weed, and
yeah, weed's completely different though.
Yeah, but I mean, I haven't really had my hands on LSD or any real psychedelics, because the last shrooms I had, I didn't really feel any different. I think they were just trash.
Some duds. Yeah, but when it comes LSD for me was a lot more. To me, LSD is a lot more. Well, the way cause that's the first thing I ever did. That's the best LSD I've ever done. I've done it like 3 times, but the other 2 times, like, it wasn't pure LSD. You could tell by the way you taste it. If it tastes like metallic-y, it's not pure LSD. Like, you should put so what they do with LSD, right? They get these like little, almost, they're like half paper, half cardboard, and they're like cut in little squares. But at first it's a big sheet, and LSD is like a liquid form, and they drip it on there.
Right.
And then you rip the thing out, you put it in your mouth, let it sit there for a while. I usually just fucking swallow it, fuck it.
Yeah.
But like, I'll let it sit in my mouth for a while, and then eventually I just like chew on it until it's nothing. But yeah, and it won't taste like anything. Like, it just tastes like the paper. You don't taste anything. That's how you know it's real shit.
How long does it take?
It takes about as long as shrooms. It's like a half hour.
Yeah.
40 minutes. But I don't know. For me, first time I ever did, I've never, like, you see people that like, there's people that have done like 8 hits at once. Like, I did 1 hit, but this was like pure ass LSD.
Yeah.
Like, the person I got it from is this chick's brother who's, like, goes to, like, festivals like Coachella and shit all the time. And he drove from New Jersey to upstate New York just to get it. It was, like, a 4-hour drive. So, like, he met this guy before at a festival. He was, like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he drove for some quality. And then we were in the middle, so he dropped some off to his sister and we took it. But to me, it was, like, I don't know, it was fascinating. Like, it changed my life for sure. Definitely changed my life.
Like, I don't understand. Like, I don't, like... That's what I've always wondered about psychedelics. I haven't really had the chance to take them. Because I don't even, like... you say it's fascinating, but I don't understand how you say it's fascinating. Like, does it, like... Does it change your mood? Or is it, like... Does it, like, change your vision? Or, like...
It just opens your consciousness to something that's, like... Just... It's really Fujia Day. Like, have you ever heard of like, you know what deja vu is, right?
Yeah.
You ever hear of Fujia Day? Okay, so deja vu is what? Something happens to you once, but you feel like you've done it, like, before. Like, a couple times, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, that's happened before. So Fujia Day is, like, something that you've done 1,000 times, but when you do it, every time you do it, it feels like the first time you've ever done it. That's what... It's like the reverse. So Fujia Day would be like, say, like, I'm an archaeologist, right? And I'll go dig for fucking, like, dinosaur bones or whatever every day. And most of the times I don't find shit, right? But in that kind of profession, like, Fujia Day would be really good because that first time you were on the job, you were like, fuck yeah, I'm gonna go find me some shit, you know what I mean? You can't let, like, all those days of not finding anything deteriorate and, like, make you lose your fucking values in your work or your integrity in your work, you know what I mean?
Right.
And become, like, just go on autopilot. You know what I mean? It's good to see, like, every little fucking detail and everything every time you do it.
Like, if you on acid and you take a chew, it's like the first time you ever took it.
No, it's not like that, but it's like the first time you're experiencing, like, everything you're, like, kind of experiencing. So I guess if you took a chew, like, yeah, like, it would feel different than most times you take a chew. But, I don't know. So when I did it, the way I explained to my friend, right, 'cause the first time I ever tripped, they asked me what it was like. None of them ever tripped. I said, to me, what it was, it took all my thoughts, emotions, and senses and multiplied them by 100.
Yeah.
Like, when you listen to music on that kind of stuff, it's never sounded so clear. You hear every last note. Like, it's almost like it's in slow motion, but you hear it in, like, regular time.
Right.
Time is, like, and time is something else on there. Like, it's not even a worry. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it's just irrelevant. Sun goes up, sun goes down. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's why, like, I always say, like, to people, I think time is, like, man-made, and they're like, no, it's not. Like, it's measured. But, like, in all forms, like, if you didn't put so much thought into it, like, every other being besides humans, it's like sun goes up, sun goes down. It's day, night, you know what I mean? There's no, like, it's 1 o'clock, it's 2 o'clock, like, you know what I mean? So in that sense, I think time's man-made. But, like, on these things, like, time's, like, not a factor. It's not an essence. And to me, like, I don't know, the first time I ever took it, right? Like, and you just do a lot of thinking, like, you do a lot of pondering, right? So, like, and in little things, like, so the first time I did LSD, like, the big thing I got out of it, like, a huge thing I got out of it was I never judged anyone after that. You know, all the time, like, we were talking about shit in high school and, like, you know, friends and acquaintances and how, like, you weren't really mean to people in like, person, like, that weren't like you, but you just didn't, like, really talk to them or give them a chance. Like, after that, like, I would talk to anyone. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. Like, I came to the realization that when you judge someone, like, if you see someone, you're like, you judge them in your head or whatever, like, I don't even do that anymore. Like, if you judge someone in your head, it has nothing to do with that person, but it's a direct reflection of yourself and what you think about people that look like that or do things like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes sense.
So I stopped judging people completely. And then, I don't know, this last time I did shrooms, that was, like, shrooms to me is, like, a lot more visual and thought, not too much senses-wise.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, music's cool, it's satisfying, not as serious, though.
Right.
But, dude, this last time we did shrooms, right? So, like, went on the beach, and, you know, I'm sitting there on the beach, waiting. Start playing catch with our buddy, and we're playing catch with the football, you know, and then, you know, things just start to slow down a little bit. Like, it takes a while, and then eventually, like, things start to, like, slow down a little bit. And you're like, all right, here we go. And then it's just, it's hard to explain, man. It's a fucking trip. Like, it's trippy, dude. Like, it's, everything just slows down, like, and you start to like, you take essence to little details that pass you by every day. So you almost enter that vuja day state, where like everything that's happening, like you're really examining it and really like watching everything, like, and taking it all in for what it actually is.
Yeah.
Instead of like stupid shit, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, say if we were tripping right now, and if I turn that light off, you would really look at the direct reflection of that light. Like, you see how that light like lights up this side of the room, like you would look and see like almost where that light's like the essence of that light and that lamp, and you would see like how impactful it is on the lighting in this room. Like, whereas if I just shut the light off right now, like you wouldn't give a fuck, you know what I mean?
Right.
So like we're on the beach and we found a spot where it was just us two, like away from everyone. It's like, I don't know, the best place I've ever done shrooms is the woods. Like, nature's incredible.
Right.
But we did it on the beach, and we like kind of isolated ourselves. But we went early, so like, and it was a Saturday. So as the day got on, like a family was set up behind us, then a family set up, then like a couple set up on the left of us, and then like people started surrounding us, right? So now at this point, I'm kind of just watching people. I'm like day watching, or people watching.
Mm-hmm.
And what I really noticed, like, so I started noticing the connection between like monkeys and humans, and how like now in my mind there's no doubt that we're just an advanced form of a monkey, like 100%. Like we share what I think it's 98 or 99% of the DNA of a monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's no fucking doubt in my mind. Just the way people were moving and everything, like we're just an advanced species. But what I really got into, so the friend that I was tripping with, he was African American, right? And he's sitting next to me, and I'm like pale as fuck. I don't like the beach. And I've always known I didn't like the beach much. Like, I like the beach, like, if I go there for like a weekend, a year, for vacation, I love it. I think the beach is fucking awesome. But I'm not a kind of guy who like wants to live on the beach and go there every day. Like, it's not my thing. I don't like it.
Yeah.
I'd much rather a lake, you know what I mean?
Go camping or something.
Yeah, all that shit. Like, that's my shit. That's my go-to. And I started really noticing how impactful that, like, your natural habitat as this monkey has on you and your species. Like, so I see our friend there, right? African American, big guy, right? Fucking, he's chilling there, and he's got like a gold chain on, right? He's got his shades on, and he's sitting next to me. And look over, he looks so natural in his habitat, cause like, you know, the black monkey compared to like the white monkey or the yellow monkey, the black monkey, that's where they derived from. You know what I mean? Like, that's where they derived from, was from the sand, the desert, you know what I mean? Like, so him in the sand there, he looked natural in his habitat, where I looked very uncomfortable. I could just tell, like, I was looking at it, like, I didn't look like I was meant to be here, you know what I mean? Like, I was looking at it like I should be in a mountain somewhere. Like, that's where I belong. Where he looked, like, natural and relaxed, like, in that habitat, where I looked uncomfortable, and I was looking at, like, other white monkeys the way I'm seeing it, and they didn't look too natural there. A few of them did, but they were tan skinned. You could tell they lived their entire life on the beach. And then I started noticing there's a guy next to us with his family, right? It's a wife, a dad. He's to our right. There's a wife, a dad, and they're older. Maybe like even a grandpa and a grandma. I'm not sure. And then there's like a son and a daughter, and then there's like these little kids that are playing, and there's like a 16-year-old guy, like kid, and they're playing football and stuff. And the way this old white man was sitting there, he just looked so like he was better than everyone else. He looked like a warden. Like, he was like the police of the mountain monkey, right? The way he was sitting there. And he just came off as racist. Like, I don't know why, but it felt to me like that dude was racist as fuck. And I talked to, you know, the black dude I'm with at the time.
Your friend.
My friend. Well, at this point, the black monkey. I'm talking to him about the white monkey. And he's saying, he's telling me, he's like, that's how I feel all the time. The way you're feeling right now, like you're describing to me, that's exactly how I feel all the time when I see people like that. And it was weird too, because like this guy's grandchildren, they're playing catch, right? And there's like a Middle Eastern family, another like you know, desert derived monkey behind us, and those kids tried to play with those kids, and the way they looked at them, and like when they would pass them and stuff, like they just felt like I'm better than you, get away from me kind of thing. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like they would move their location, or I don't know. It was really weird to me. It was fucking weird, and yeah, that was totally weird.
Well, why do you think they think that? I mean, I'm not saying that like.
Well,
like
okay.
why do you think like they think they're better than everybody else? You know
why did I think that? It was his mannerisms.
No. I'm not saying like I'm not talking about when you're tripping. I'm not like it's a real unless you regularly. Like why do you think like they felt they were better than everybody? You know what I mean? Do they think it was just the white supremacy?
No, it had nothing to do with that. I don't think it had anything to do with that. So it was just the way the man was sitting, like just looking over his young pride of monkeys, right? Just the way he was looking over it, like, we've accomplished, right? And the family behind us, you could tell that dude had, like, money. You could tell that dude had money, and his family grew up well. And the families around him that weren't the white monkey, they weren't. And it felt like he was almost just kind of like, he knew it, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And was just overlooking, like, his accomplishment in his family line. And I don't know, it was weird. Like, it was really weird. It was weird to me. But I was relating this to, like, you know, our friend, and I was telling him about it, and he was saying, he's like, yeah, like, that's how I feel all the time. He's like, not with every white monkey, but like a white person actually. But I'm referring to them as monkeys. I'm sure you've caught on by now. But what he was saying is like, there are a decent amount of people that are like that and like carry themselves like that. And he was saying that that's how he said he feels like that often.
See that
I related to him. I know what he felt like.
Right. Well, I understand. I completely understand what you're saying, but I don't think there's a lot of people like that. Not anymore.
There is, like, it's not shown. Like, you're not going out and you're not like, but inside it's like that, man. It is.
Because you gotta understand.
It is.
There's no way because I feel like in this day and generation that when it comes to like mixing cultures, it's just a regular thing. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, the more racist people are gonna be down south because it was a traditional thing, was it not?
I mean, not all the time. Not even close.
What are you even talking about? If you ask anybody, where do you think the most racist people are in the U.S.?
Well, yeah, they're gonna say down south, but that's not limited to down south. Like, not even close.
Well, I understand, but what I don't like. I'm trying to tell you, I don't think that there's a lot of that. There's the vast population is racist. I think it's slimmed down a lot. You know what I'm saying? So I think to say that you feel like that all the time.
He didn't though. Like, okay, now you're mixing my words. Like I said, like with that kind of person, he's like, I feel like that often. I use the word often.
Well, often. Okay, if you say you feel like that often, that's just.
I understand though. Like, so also in this time, like you said before, like I'm not talking about when you're tripping. I'm talking about real. Like that is as real as it gets. That's what tripping does to you. You take it for exactly what it is and nothing else. Like you don't take it like as a normal fucking day. Like you look at every little thing and you feel it. You don't just look at it. You feel the vibration. You feel the energy from it. Like,
right.
Like I know for a fact that man sat there like that with pride. With pride for his fucking little monkey family and how successful they are and how they looked. He sat there with pride. You could tell by the way he sat. Like, I don't know if he takes pride. I mean, the man probably takes pride in everything, but the way he took pride there, it was obvious. It was very fucking obvious. And it's something that I always overlook. Like, I don't see it like that, you know what I mean? But then when I noticed that, I thought back to my own life. And, like, I'm white, right? Like, obviously, I'm a white monkey. But, like, I grew up in poverty, so, like, and I've known other white monkeys that do, right? So, like, you gotta think, I don't know about where you're from, but where I'm from, like, I wouldn't say, like, many people are racist, but, like, the amount of people that will give you a chance and give you their own honest time of day have to see some positive in you, like
for me personally, like one of my really good friends in high school, like his mom was like a saint to me, right? Like they were like a well-off white family.
All right,
let me don't interrupt. So like they were a very well-off like white family, right?
Right.
And I was I came from a totally different kind of family, a very broken family, fucking poor.
Right.
And they would take me in, like, buy me dinner, all this kind of shit. Like, she'd give me money and stuff. Like, I mean, or some were friends, but, like, I was only friends with that kid because of who I became.
Right.
And it's especially obvious with fucking, like, I was only welcomed by her and stuff because I was, you know, I played football. I was kind of worried about my grades and stuff. So, like, she took me and she felt bad for me. But if I was just some average Joe, say I didn't play sports, and, like, she wouldn't give two fucks about me. You know what I mean? Like, that callous, that, successful, mostly white family, like, they wouldn't give a fuck about you. And it's especially impactful when you look at, like fucking straight up, like,
well, and like what you were just saying,
like, especially impactful, like, when you look at, like, fucking black kids, like, so, Wale, Wale, the rapper, right?
Yeah.
He has a song called, like, Varsity Blues, like, and he talks about it perfect, like, he says, like, if you're on a football team, like, if you play football or something, like, everyone's gonna love you, you know what I mean? Like,
right.
Like, but if you weren't, and you were just an average fucking black dude, like, in the streets or whatever, like, no one would give you their time of day. And it's not only black; it also works for white. Like, that's
so
where
you're saying the movie Blindside is
totally because that kid was the beast at football.
So it was kind of I wouldn't say racist, but it's a good example of
great example.
If that same black guy was not good at sports, he was just a fucking big dumb guy.
He wouldn't have a movie.
That wouldn't have a
wouldn't have a movie. No one would know about the story, and the chances of a family taking him in like that would drop drastically.
Which I can understand, but for example,
and I related to that at that moment.
Here's the thing, and this is an example of what happened to me. Is that when my car broke down, how many people do you think stopped by to help me?
How many people does it take? You mean how many people passed before they stopped?
Yeah.
I wouldn't say very many. I mean,
not very many. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it does take a while. Would you if some dude's car broke down? Like, are you automatically pulling over? Like, sometimes you're busy, sometimes you're not. Some people don't even know what the fuck they're doing with the cars. They can't even help you. You know what I mean?
Well, most people. I understand, but like here,
you need a guy like that's car savvy or.
No, but here's the thing, it's like while I was broken down for 2 hours, the only person that came to help me was a black person. He didn't help me. He asked if I was doing okay and if I needed any help. I was like, "Sir, I got all covered." I talked to my insurance to come in and get me. But other than him, nobody stopped by to see if I was doing okay. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah.
So I can honestly say like I've never done the same. Like, let me ask you a question. If you're driving down the street and you had $200 in your pocket and you saw a bum sitting there, would you give him money? To be honest, like don't bullshit.
It depends. Like,
if you were driving and you like you're at a stoplight and this guy comes up, he's walking each car, say, "Do you have any spare change?" Would you give him money? Yes or no?
It honestly depends. It's not a yes or no question. It depends. So I've passed countless guys that have asked me money, and I've said no. Most of the time, I don't have money. I only have my debit card. But even if I have money, like, I have big bills. If I have some spare change, like, plenty of times I've given people my spare change. Plenty of times I've given people more than spare change.
Yeah.
2 weeks ago, when I met that girl, I was waiting for down at, like, by Petco Park. I walked past Petco Park to go get a coffee while I was waiting for her. Mm-hmm. Saw a guy who looked fucking miserable, sitting there, fucking obviously homeless. I go to this. I passed him. I go to the store. I bought an Uncrustable and a large water, like one of those big ass bottles, and I went out of my way to go back to that guy and give it to him. Like, It depends. Like, it honestly depends.
Yeah. I just think like
if I'm busy and like I have priority, like I can't. Like I'm not gonna be there for every homeless person in the world.
and you shouldn't be. You know why? Because it's like, and I talk about this with plenty of people. Is that I understand a lot of the homeless people are fucked up. It's understandable, but a lot of these guys just don't want to work, and they're handed they you give them money, they think like, okay, well, if people are gonna give me money, then why I have to work? I watched this video of a guy doing an experiment of he was acting homeless. He made $300 by begging for money. You know, that's a lot of fucking money.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Is that but when him making all that money, people were trying to help him like get up on his feet in a sense. Obviously, $20 is not gonna be on getting your feet, but it's something.
Yeah.
But he was just doing that just to see how much money he would make. You know what I'm saying? $300 is a lot. So and I think homeless guys take that shit for granted because they get used to it and they're okay. I'm gonna get money somehow.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, not every homeless person even like wants to be saved. Like, you can't save someone who doesn't want to be saved, man. Like,
well, that makes sense, but I think that a lot of the homeless people are just lazy, and then why should I give my hard work money to them because they don't want to work? And I honestly, like I said, I don't think that's the case for all of them. Like I said, you can't save all of them.
Yeah.
But and to generalize it, if I'm driving and I see a person that looks perfectly fine with a sign that says, "Can you help me out?" No, I'm not gonna help you out. You know why? Because if you wanted help, you would go to a person and try to get a job to help you out. You get what I'm trying to say?
Yeah, no, I get it.
Like I said,
I definitely agree. I totally agree, like 100%.
I don't think.
Not to mention, how many people are you helping out already through your fucking taxes that are going to food stamps? So.
Exactly, and a lot of people take that shit for granted. You know what I mean? And it's bullshit.
That shit is bullshit. I mean, the welfare system's so corrupt, it's ridiculous.
Well, and there's a lot
These
of
people can go and use this money that's helping them to survive and better their life and give them a chance, and they're spending it. But you gotta think too, like, I heard a quote one time too, it's one of my favorite quotes, like, think of how dumb the average person is, and then realize that half of the world is dumber than that. Like, it's a big deal. Like, so, you know, people get this money and they're like, they get this free money for food, and what do? They go out and I've seen it. I've done it. Like, my mom has done it. Like, you go out and you buy steaks. You buy, like, oh, it's food stamp day. Like, we're eating good tonight. Like, we're gonna go get steaks, fucking shrimp, like, all that shit. Like, that's unnecessary. But...
Well, okay, look at us. When you get paid, what do?
Exactly, and that's why I can't judge. Like,
you know what I mean? Like, when I get paid, I fucking, like, live like I'm a king. And then once I progress down and I have, like, $300, $200, $100, I get more conservative, you know?
Yeah, for sure.
And it's very, like I said, it's very facetious to me to say that, like, you don't try not to judge them, but we do anyways. But honestly, I can say is that...
Yeah, but I've earned that money.
Exactly. That's why
I've
worked hard for it, and I've earned it. And I stand by that. You know what I mean? And that's why 8 times out of 10, I will not give Bum my money because I earned that money, and I busted my ass for that money because I want to survive. And I like I was saying, like my parents make really good money now. Like, they're very wealthy. But when I was younger, like 5, my mom, when I was first born, I was born in Helena, Montana, but we lived in Boulder, very small town, probably like 300 people. She was working 3 different jobs to barely pay for us. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I was eating ostrich for a couple of years. You know what I'm saying? Like, she would add ostrich to ramen noodles for dinner. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was eating cheap. And then my dad came, or my stepdad, I call my dad because he whatever. And then we moved to a trailer. I lived in a fucking trailer for 3 years. Yeah. Dude, I've lived the fucking hard life. I lived the fucking very poverty life. Like, when I got my first bike, it was a Mongoose from Walmart. It was $100. That was my favorite fucking toy of all time. because like I value that. That was the first thing I've ever gotten. I mean, that was like worth something.
Yeah.
It was a mongoose, but my parent that's why the values that I take is I don't like to ask for shit. I really don't. And some people that I work with, they're just so easy with asking people, can I get a ride? Can I stay with you? I don't ever ask for that any of that shit ever, because me being that poor now, and then my parents make a lot of money now, it was like 0 to 100. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I got values from that. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
And I don't, and I truly stand by it. It's like when people, it's all about how you're basically living. And I don't think, and I can understand that some people say that it's all about experience. And I think and it's very true. You know what I mean? It's like you can't. There's a lot of people, like people say like black people have it so hard. Everybody. There's not only just black people that have it hard. Everybody has it hard at some point in time. Even I'm fucking struggling right now. You know what I mean? Like I make $1,300 every week. I mean that's not good. That's not great. But I mean, I still have a hard time right now. You know what I mean? Because I fucked up. You know what I mean? I gotta learn from that. But it's so dumb for people to. I'm not saying I'm not against nobody, and I'm not attacking nobody, but I really hate. Like I saw this article on Facebook. It says that it was like this black activist group that they were trying to get free college because of their like, or people who families were slaves to get free college. That's bullshit. 100%. Are you fucking kidding me? That since your family's was probably slavery, that you should get free college? How about me living in a trailer eating ostrich? Can I get free tuition too? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's fucked up, because I talked about before. It's the triangle of trade. Your people sold you to America. You know what I'm saying? Your people did that to you. I mean, obviously, it was basically like a 70% was us treating you guys like shit. But
Definitely in the wrong. Like 100% we were in the wrong.
But
yeah, I mean, I get it. But like, I don't know. For me, shit. My mom and dad are both, they're both like, extremely Irish. I guess I'm a mutt for the most part, but like, my majority ethnicity is Irish,
Yeah.
And you gotta think, like, those people were slaves too back in the day. Like almost everyone has been slaves at some time, but I mean, it doesn't justify anything. You know what I mean? Like, we definitely treated them horrible and stuff, and like all these things. But I mean, look, the way I see it is like, okay, that has nothing to do with what you can do right now.
Exactly.
I watched a video the other day. And it was 3 African American males, and they were pointing out why they blame white people for all these things. It had a ton of views. I think it was 300-some thousand, and they were pointing out all these things about white people and like why they can't do this, why they can't do that, because they were saying like, white people run the pharmaceutical companies, white people run the government, white people run everything. But it's like, instead of like complaining about it, like what these guys should be doing in this video is saying, my fellow African Americans, let's make a change. Let's change that. We have the opportunity now. Our great leaders, Martin Luther King, Malcolm X, they've given us this opportunity to be able to make a difference. That is how it is now. But in the future, it can be different. But we need to change it now. But no, instead these guys they were just being very negative. It was very hateful. And they were blaming it on them with no change. It was all problem, no solution. And if you want to send out a positive message, I believe, it should be problem and then solution. But these guys were just all problem.
And this thing though, like, look at what is one thing you can compare between the slaves, the black slaves, and the Jews that were slaughtered during the Holocaust?
What's one thing I can compare? The longevity. Well, no, that's something that's totally different. The longevity. The amount of time was like way different in America.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I understand that. Like, I think one thing problem when it comes to people who are so negative when it comes to white people because they think we were slaves at one time. Look at the Jews. They were slaughtered by the hundreds of thousands just because they were Jew.
Yeah.
Look at Egypt on how many people they had enslaved building pyramids. Thousands.
All Jewish slaves.
Thousands and thousands of thousands.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah.
how can you like bring all the attention on yourself?
You know, it's also the relation of time too. Is what they're trying to say. Like that wasn't very long ago, and we were talking about racism before. Like racism definitely still exists to an extent, but like, I mean, you could either use that. What I always say, you know, I've had this conversation with like a few of my black friends before, and but like what I always say is like, I get it, man. Like I don't get it. I'm hearing what you say, but like you could do two things with adversity. You could use it as an excuse, or you could use it as motivation. Like that's what you can do with it. Like leave it or not. I mean, like believe it or not, like that's your choices. That's what. Don't bitch about the rules of the game, but fucking find out the rules and destroy the game. Like that's all you can do.
And that's the best thing, and that's what I was saying about homeless people. Don't wait for someone to help you out. Do it yourself.
Yeah, I know, but those people just aren't. They're not smart.
Well, I know.
A lot of them don't even want help.
And that's the thing, though, is that they don't want help, and because they get it, they just get handed things.
Yeah.
Make something of yourself. Don't dwell on the past, because if you dwell on the past, it's gonna make you worse. Don't let and that's why I hate about all these activist groups, especially with like these people who want free college. If college was free,
the dropout rate would be unreal,
and also the
people would take so much advantage.
The competition of jobs would be unreal.
Yeah. Another thing too, I mean, you can't just make college free. You can't, like, you cannot. I mean, other people say, well, look at Denmark, look at this, look at that. Okay, a lot of those countries also have mandatory 2-year military service, and a lot of them are no bigger than the state of North Carolina. So yeah, that can work when you're working with that small amount of people. Yeah. But when you're working with a vast amount of people, no, China doesn't do that. All these big other countries, they don't offer free college. No, it's a dog-eat-dog world. Like, you have to go out there, you got to get it, man. You have to do it. It's what I always say, too. You want free college? Join the military. You don't want to join the military? Get a fucking scholarship. Like, there's ways to get free college, but you got to work for it. But nobody wants to work for it. Everyone wants, hand me, gimme. And that's why people don't like the millennials. We complain too much, you know. And it sucks for, you know, a lot of like guys like us, because we're considered millennials, and millennials is such a bad name. So like the older you know, generation. But I mean, that doesn't really bother me, because when I say the older generation is who fucking raised us. That was your job. Look what you created. You know what I mean? We're like, you created us. You let this happen. Like, so I mean, but everyone wants to get handed shit. No one wants to work for shit.
Right.
That's as simple as that.
One thing I do can say about us as a generation is that we're a very advanced generation. I think us as millennials, that we will change the world.
We're gonna change the world 100%.
Forever.
I think our generation will have the biggest impact on the world that's ever been. 100%.
Yeah.
And I'm actually grateful to be a part of that.
Yeah, you know what I mean? Because think of it this way, right? Is that people who strive to fucking be doctors, be scientists, be leaders, are the people who want to change. You know what I'm saying?
You gotta want it, man.
If you gotta want it. You know what I mean? I'm not saying people back then didn't want that, but they didn't have the knowledge and the technical skills that we have now.
Some of them did, and that's why we're at.
Well, obviously, yes, for sure. But now, since it's more evenly based,
yeah,
for example,
the competition is definitely more even.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of knowledge that we consume, like, it's fucking unreal, man. Like, I have the answer to damn near 99% of the questions in the world at the palm of my hand. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
At my fingertips, dude. I just ask it, and there's the answer. So if you want to learn, I mean, it's nuts. I don't know. To me, the whole generation we're in, you know, this millennial generation, it's gonna have the biggest impact out of any other generation in the world. Like, I'm completely confident in that.
Yeah.
100%. The only thing that kind of bothers me is, you know, the pity. Like, we feel so much pity, and it's like I get like that. You know, some pity should be felt, and like your fellow man, like you still treat your fellow man with respect, but like you have to understand, like if someone doesn't want to be changed, like if someone's okay with where they're at, you gotta let that happen. Like there's always gonna be a top, and there's always gonna be a bottom. There can't be everyone lives the same life. Like it's not how it works in this capital hungry system.
It's never been like that, and it never will.
No, it can't be.
It can't be.
It can't. It straight can't. The only way that shit works is if it's a small group of people. Then you can do that, like a tribe. You know what I mean? Like a tribe or something, like a group of 20, 30 people. You know, I know I fucking mention Rogan a lot, but I listen to a lot of his shit. I learn a lot of shit from him. What he always says is like, when it comes to government too, like having one man in charge of everything is kind of stupid. He's like, he always explains it like, if we're trapped on an island, me, you, and 5 other people, like we can live probably a great life and not have too many arguments.
Yeah.
Unless some dude's like eating all the food and not catching any of it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when you expand, and you turn that fucking 30 people into 30 million people, like there's gonna be some fucking issues, man. Like there's, you know what I mean? Like the numbers game. There's gonna be that guy who wants to eat all the fish but doesn't fish. There's gonna be the guy who wants this and doesn't want to do the work. And it's getting that. It's getting there. And it's a big thing now. Like it's been big, man. I mean, you're gonna have poverty. You're gonna have it. You're gonna have it. And there's a way out of poverty. And it's hard work. That's it. You gotta want to get out. Like me personally, like growing up in poverty, dude. I don't know why. I've told you this before. At the age of like 6, 7, dude. Like I looked around, looked where I was living, looked at what was going on around me, and to myself, I was just like, okay, like this right here, all this. My kids aren't gonna do this. Like this isn't happening.
No.
Like, and you just refuse to become a product of your surroundings, and you work hard for it.
You always want better for you. You would always want your children to have it better than what you had. And that's why I envy my little brother so much, because the way I was growing up, we were in poverty. You know what I'm saying? We lived below average.
Yeah.
And now since my parents make a lot of money, he kind of gets whatever he wants.
Yeah.
I kind of wish that I had that, but I know that him not going to be different because we grew up in a different time.
Because of that, yeah.
You know what I mean? Does that make him a horrible person? No. It's just the way he grew up.
Yeah.
But that's something that you just have to learn on your own. And I think that when it comes to the military, is that the military sucks. It really does.
It fucking, yeah.
It does.
Suck.
But one thing I can say about it, it creates people being more independent and having to rely on yourself, because it's a dog-eat-dog world.
It is.
Everybody doesn't make rank. Everybody doesn't get awards. You have to work for it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
So I think that's a good building block to go into society, and like going against civilians that are just been handling things. You been in the military, you know how to work for things.
Yeah.
You know what it is. So you can take that and build on.
For sure.
You know what I'm saying? And people didn't understand that when it comes to older times. They didn't understand that. I think that's why you see a lot of Marines that were in the Vietnam War, the World War II, that they were Vietnam War mainly. They were homeless. You know what I mean?
Those guys were also extremely fucked up in the head after that too.
Well, right, which makes sense.
You mind if I get a chow?
Is that I just think that the military is a good building block, but I don't think it's a good career because
there's so much opportunity.
There's so much opportunity. There's so much, and you gotta create that for yourself.
So much.
And that's why I say when it comes to females, I create as much opportunity as possible. You know what I'm saying? Because more opportunity you have, the better you are at being successful.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, even just the back to the military thing, it's like, to me personally, it's a great, like, the retirement plan, you gotta admit, like, 50% after 20 years, incredible. It is incredible.
But it depends on what rank you make.
To me, personally, dude, like, you can get out at 40 years old and make half of what, like, for free, you know what I mean? Plus benefits, Plus, like, it is a great gig in that sense, but
But that's all you know.
you're trading your life for that. You are trading your entire life for that guarantee. And that's why some people straight love their job and enjoy what they do. Like, if I was in that case, like, I would do 20 years, you know what I mean? Like, this is what I love to do, this is what I was meant to do, I love it, I enjoy it, I'm going to do it. But I'm not going to do it just for that guarantee. I'm not. I can't. Because I just can't. Like, to me, I think most people do it because of the guarantee. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's going to happen no matter what. No fallback plan. You don't need one. That's what's going to happen to you. Like, and if you get out, you're taking a risk. How many people get out and don't do shit? A lot. A lot. How many people get out? How many people I've seen get out? They're fucking stupid, dude. They're fucking stupid. They're dumb people. I don't know. There's a lot of opportunity out there, man. You got to capitalize on it.
And
I can't.
I hate when people say
My
that.
dreams for myself are much bigger than that.
I hate when people say there's not a lot of jobs out there. There is so many online programs where, like, you can upload your resume, and there's thousands of jobs out there. Thousands. You know what I'm saying? I mean, obviously they all will make the same. Like, for me, like, I want to get out and make at least like $15 an hour, because I think that's why I'm worth, because I know I'm worth more than minimum wage, because my work ethic and me being able to learn quickly is powerful. You know what I'm saying? Because a lot of people don't have those kind of skills, and that's why I think that when I get out, that I'm gonna get a job instantly, because I know my opportunities and I know what I can use to get a job. You know what I mean? So I think it's dumb how people get out and then they can't find a job or don't do good, because if they don't get out and do good, because they don't, it's not anybody else, it's them and them only. You know what I mean?
But they'll blame it on everyone else. So that's what I said before. Like, people will look for an excuse, man. Give me an excuse. Anything I can use an excuse, and I'm taking it. And that's the wrong attitude. And if you do that, you have no chance. You have no chance in this world. You're gonna be average. You're gonna be shit. You're not gonna do anything spectacular. You know what I mean? But you have to dream big. Like not even dream big, but you gotta work for that dream too. Like, I don't know. A lot of people they're just okay with being average. Like, I don't know.
I truly believe that you can do anything that you want in the world. Anything you want.
I agree.
I mean, obviously, not everybody can be an astronaut. Not everybody can be president. But
no, there's definitely some skills that need to be acquired. But like, a lot of people that don't think they can if they just put in the work.
Right. What I'm trying to say is that there is whatever you want to do it. There's no one stopping you except yourself.
Exactly.
And if you want to do that, create opportunities. Always create opportunities, because if you don't, you're just gonna
not only create the opportunities, but you have to be able to realize an opportunity when there is an opportunity.
We gotta adapt.
Well, you have to realize an opportunity when you see an opportunity. You know what I mean? You gotta capitalize on it. You know, a lot of times, like, there is an opportunity and you just don't realize it. You're just like, I don't know. It's a big thing. Dude, you guys start going to these fucking. When me and Pastorio went to the Clever Talks event, the military event where Mark Cuban came and talked. Like, he just talked shit like this. It was badass, dude. And he's like the 134th richest man in the world. Like, just bullshitting about like what he did, like, and how. What he was saying about his story when I met Cuban, like, first of all, when I met him, I saw him outside. I went to go take a piss. I was looking outside. I was like, is that Mark Cuban? Because he was supposed to come, but like everyone's like, oh, he's gonna show up on the roof in his helicopter and fucking come in through the elevator. You know what I mean? Dude was just chilling on the pier, like, with like his secretary, just like chilling. Just like looking at the water. And I ran in the bathroom. I was like, Pastorio, Cubans were outside, dude. He's like, no, he's not. I'm like, dude. And we're outside, and we're like, is that him? Because people look different in person. They look on TV, you know. They got like, makeup on and shit, whatever. So I saw him, and I was like, dude, we gotta go talk to him. Like, we have to go talk to him. So we go up, and there's like another guy trying to talk to him. The other guy's talking to him, asking him a few questions. I go up to him, and I'm thinking to myself, like, I'm waiting to talk to him. And I'm like, okay, I can only ask him one question. And I realized this. Remember that day when that that Forest Master Chief came on board, and he's like, I'm telling you now, I'm the smartest man in the world. Remember that in the VTA on deployment? He's like, I'm the smartest man in the world. And if you don't ask me a question, it's ill-advised because I'm the smartest man in the world. I'll answer any question you can ask me. Remember when he said that?
Mm-hmm.
I didn't ask him a question because I knew he wasn't the smartest man in the world because he's still in the Navy. But, just kidding. But I thought to myself, it's like, if I actually did meet the smartest man in the world, the man with all answers, what would I ask him? One question. Not all answers, but like reasonable answers. Not like, okay, what are the winning Powerball numbers tonight? You know what I mean? Like a reasonable question.
Mm-hmm.
I thought to myself, I was like, I would ask him what his favorite 3 books are. Because of that question, I think it's the best question you can ask anyone. Because in that question, by reading those books, I can pick his brain. I could have so many more questions answered through all that information than I ever could in one question. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So I went up to Cuba and I asked him what his fucking top 3 favorite books were. And he fucking told me it was a good question. Fucking shook my hand, took a picture with him. And then we sat, he spoke at his event. And he just told us, man, he's like, it's all about the grind. He's like, I'm owner of the Dallas Mavericks. He's like, I consider business the hardest sport in the world. I tell my basketball players that all the time. Like, that shit is dog eat dog every day. He's like, you gotta work like someone's coming to take your job every day. He's like, and that's how I became who I am. He's like, I out-hustled everybody. I out-hustled all my competition. He's like, I will stay up all day, all night, literally learning all my shit. What he said he does every day. Every day, he told us, the first thing he does, he writes down everything he needs to do today, but the first thing he writes down to accomplish are his problems. His problems for the day. Okay, what are my problems? Like, what are the things I have to take care of because they're a fucking problem to me?
Mm-hmm.
He writes them down first, takes care of them, then works on himself. And he was telling us, he's like, people say I'm this, I'm that, like I got lucky, all this stuff, all this and that. And he was telling us, he's like, yeah, but those people didn't see me when I was living in a 2-bedroom apartment with 6 roommates, sleeping on the floor for fucking years. And he's like, those people didn't see me when I was fucking eating ramen. Like, all I could afford was ramen, and I was working 3 jobs to save up my money to start up this business. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, people just see the end product. And that's why I hate the word lucky. Because people see the end product and be like, oh, man, you're so lucky. Like, lucky? You know what I went through for this? Kidding me?
Mm-hmm.
That's like when I was in college and I was playing football. Me and my roommates were outside playing catch in the parking lot. There's this guy who like worked for the city and he's cleaning. And their like shack was next to our apartment where like they kept like all their like tools and shit, and they would like clean like the public square and stuff. He came up to us one day and he was talking to us. He's like, "Oh, you guys live the life, man. You guys this and that." He's like, "You're so lucky." And I thought to myself, and I was like, "Dude, you know like how I ended up fucking it all up something like, but I learned from that. You know what I mean?" But he was like, "You guys are so lucky." I'm sitting there like, you know, like what I had to go through to get this, man. Like, it's not luck. Like none of that was luck. Like that was fucking hard work, man.
Mm-hmm.
Lucky's such a lazy word. It's a direct reflection on the lazy being lazy. You know what I mean? Like luck isn't a thing. Luck's a thing in the sense that, you know, I heard someone say that you have more, the chance of you winning the lottery 10 times in your life, you're more likely to win the lottery 10 times in your lifetime than to actually become a human. The chances of actually becoming a human from like a sperm is unreal. Like, he's like, you have to be great. Like, the guy was saying, you have to be grateful for that shit. Like stop making excuses. Stop doing all that. Like, you are lucky. Like, look, you have a life. Like, make the best out of it. What the fuck? Like, what else do you need? You gotta work for that shit. You know what I mean?
That makes sense.
Alright. So, I think I'm gonna end this here. It was great having you here. Do it again.
Yeah.
Alright, buddy. Well, that's all, folks. Hope you enjoyed. Peace out.